Knight d7 and bishop d7, castle, bishop d6, and queen h5.
It's also a typical position from some French exchange lines. To have some positions white are playing c4 also later.
Yes, now and queen h5, this is aggressive move, and this is move probably with which is he's trying to create some sort of if not problems, then illusion for like some trouble for black. Because they have to worry now about d5 pawn, they have to worry potentially if they castle short about h7 pawn.
And also about white can play in some point f3.
Yeah, f3, opening up the bishop and having some attack. Of, do you have some knowledge of this position, how it
No,
should proceed?
not too much.
Yes, I'm sure I have seen it, but how it should proceed precisely, I'm not certain.
But white was playing very quickly those moves, so it's probably everything is well now.
Yeah, I'm sure it's in the such openings like e4, e5, it's almost impossible, I think, to get by move 8 already some position which is not well known. Okay, maybe we could find some game with more moves played. Could be... Okay, this is probably between Riga Clemens and Swan Erasmus. That some theoretical battle as well here,
So
but
both are also German players.
yeah, this is the thing about the A tournament. There is actually the same amount of German players as it's Latvian players participating.
Oh.
Both are 35 people from both federations, which is very interesting statistic that Germans are coming in so big numbers here.
Most of those Germans are young generation also.
So what can we say about this position? They played still a couple of more moves, so still taking an e5 played by black and now castle. So I assume that next black is gonna take on d4 at some point and play against isolated pawn. Can they manage to create some pressure there, or it will simplify position too much and white will be in time?
I would prefer in this position white, because I like play with isolated pawn. So, and it looks like white pieces more or less are staying where they should be. So
yeah, so maybe his idea is not to take on d4 at all, and he will try to keep some tension in the center, still alive. I'm not so certain what is black's plan with the bishop on a5, what should be done with it.
I think there is simple to put bishop somewhere on c7 and outer with knight over b6 and get to d5, something like this. Of course, after changing pawns on d4.
But should they change the pawns on d4? Maybe it's good to start just with bishop c7, for example.
Yes, that's maybe right. But black should be ready also if white is putting rook on d9.
On d1, yes, that's...
Yes, and start to...
There's a little problem of where to put this queen.
Yes, because queen e7 is not the best square.
As it runs into knight f5 jumps.
Yes, and queen e8 looks strange.
So probably by rook d1, white could force black to take on e5, d4 already.
Yes. And taking on d4.
With a pawn?
I would like to take with pawn.
Yeah, to open up the bishop as well.
Yes.
And yeah, now knight b6 could be already with a tempo to
Knight
attack the
b6,
bishop.
and normally bishop is quite good in this kind of openings on
a2.
a2.
Yeah,
with
with
long.
both
diagonal.
controlling this long diagonal and also having an option sometimes to target the h7 pawn.
Actually, during the game is already changing, and they was playing almost all these moves, but black was not black was taking immediately on.
So he chose not to
Yes,
allow anything for...
I suppose that is even. Okay. Now they are threatening to win pawn with knight b6 and queen d4.
Aha, so white is forced probably to play rook d1 anyways.
Maybe it's not only move. So
You can also start with bishop a2, but it will... What other options are there to protect d4 pawn?
okay. Anyway, black is planning to play on b6, knight b6. So can think about where to put bishop, white bishop, and then after only protect this pawn on d4.
Yeah, so, well, bishop a2, it seems like the most natural approach. I agree about that. It's very nicely shooting from behind. And after knight b6,
Sometimes even white is sacrificing d pawn to get all active pieces, but probably not in this case.
it might be hard to do it in this case, with bishop g5 doesn't seem to accomplish too much. Or maybe it does generate some tactics here, and the black cannot take the pawn. As I have an idea of playing rook a d1 and
There
bishop
is
b1
also
just...
one strange idea after queen d4, playing knight b5, just getting two bishops, but it's pawn is sacrificed, so it's
Might
that
not
could
be enough, and there's another one still
Yes.
falling.
Okay, let's see other games. What's going on here is they all.
There is potential for interesting game here, yeah, definitely, I think. Other games... Okay, we can maybe see the position in a game by top seeded woman player in the tournament, Narva Mai, number one player in Estonia.
Yes.
A young player who is training hard and playing a lot, so it's always interesting to see how she's doing. And this is some interesting position that they have gotten here. It started by Caracan defense, which was answered by 2 knight c3, d5, knight f3. A line that is time to time becoming quite fashionable. Then it comes, then it goes, but it's definitely played well in its complicated battle. And black chose to take and play knight f6. Queen e2. So Narvamai is choosing not to go for the positions with knight x6, which can give black a choice if to play a little worse position with gf, but it's very hard strategical battle, or to transform into just some classical form of Caro-Kann with ef.
With two open lines and nice play for black bishops.
Yeah, this is one of those funny positions that usually computer, for example, is always giving constantly just a little more pleasant for white, but in reality, in database at least, black is scoring more than 50% because they're just slowly outplaying and some are getting more favorable endgames.
Yes, white is feeling that they have more advantage, space advantage, but really they need to protect all those pawns in centrum. And I think Narva May is she's one of very few professional players in Baltic states, women professional players who is playing chess. There are not many, and she's one of few top players, and she's taking chess very seriously. So
Yeah, so I assume that Queen e2 that is some sort of prepared idea by her.
yes, she didn't spend too much time on that.
And here black is interestingly going for Queen d5. Which
So
is something that you often don't see by such in the game where there's such a big rating difference that you're going for such an end game so voluntarily.
uh, maybe Petrosyan is thinking that it's more easy to play with young lady in some end game, whereas where preparation not work so big deal.
And where he's gonna just create some, in case of exchanges, that he could create some sort of minority attack on the queen side, as
Yes,
the most logical structure somewhere which would develop would be like this, and he would prepare just b5, b4, and
yes, take out bishop on f5 and knight c6, and yes, it's very playable position for if you want to play for win.
so what's interesting is that players played queen e3 and queen e6. Very stubbornly wanting to go for an endgame.
Maybe Petrosyan was checking our games and feel that in endgames he have more chances to win. That's also possible.
Yeah, but if in the previous position I saw like those clear ideas how to play, then say now if I play d4 and
I think it's good to play d4 or something similar, because if white is taking on e3, so then black can take even with pawn e-font, but his bishop is also quite nice position. It's destruction is little better for white than compare with destruction if taking on d5.
yeah, exactly, and that's why I'm surprised by queen e6, as I don't see really a potential how black could even try to outplay opponent here, because it's only waiting for white maybe to go a little too crazy.
Okay, we'll see what will happen later about this position.
So where could some other game? Maybe there are some Latvian players we should look at.
Yes, so I see Nikita Meshkov game.
Yes, you can look at the Grandmaster from Latvia, Nikita Meshkovs. Yesterday we didn't see his game, but yeah, we can definitely look at today. And he's playing against another young player from Estonia.
Karin Kirill. This young player have lot of good tournaments in last years. He played a couple of times in Baltic zonal tournaments, and it's giving good experience. It's almost like round robin tournaments. So.
But he is also struggling with the same problem like we mentioned for Laura, time management.
Oh,
Very often I see him after move 20 already playing on last minutes. Especially if he's in the opening or position that he
you
don't
can
really
see
feel.
he already spent 20 minutes almost.
Yes, and he
Opening.
spent them after Nikita playing Alech in defense.
Oh.
Weapon he's using exactly against players who are maybe just too slow and with who he wants a long battle.
But it's normal. It's for second round. You can against weaker opponent. You can use opening what is maybe not the best one.
Yeah, of course, as this is open tournament, those points in the beginning, it's very important to score them in order to fight for the very top places. So players have to take a little more risks.
I think his opponent is also happy about opening, because it's giving chances to also for fight.
Yeah, so he played a very solid, actually, kind of setup. Bishop out quickly, then e6, d6 is played, and just standing and waiting for some weaknesses, some weak squares, I assume, just where to try to outplay his opponent. Now he's probably thinking if to put knight on c6 or on d7. And trying to avoid just some forced simplifications, I assume. Something that black always has to remember here is that at any point white can take on d6, and you always have to recapture with the pawn from c7, otherwise c5 fork would come. I think that a very classical way of playing here is knight c6, but it allows exactly the same this kind of setup, and it can be rather hard to win here. For example, just bishop f3, yes, and knight e5. I'm fairly sure that I have seen this position before, that's why I'm showing it.
But it's also looking like playable also for black. Knights are jumping and getting some good squares. And those two bishops at this moment don't looks like they have a lot of lines for where are they are strong.
Well, little problem in my opinion about this position is that this knight on b6, that it's very hard to find really a good square for it. Because I'm gonna play bishop e2, and yeah, I want to set up just bishop d4 and queen on b3, maybe sometimes targeting b7 pawn, some a4, a5 ideas can come, and
So it's good would be if black can change black bishop against white black bishop, and there will be more squares for knights. So, but the knight on b6, I don't think it's so bad. It's can over d7 come to c5 and.
Yeah, if it's in time to do that and to stabilize on c5, then probably it's all fine for white, for black. I mean, sorry. But we'll see what develops there. Okay, right near them, there's playing the young Indian grandmaster. He chose to play today an opening. Also maybe a little bit more in the spirit of the second round and beginning of an open tournament, 2b3.
It looks like he's trying a lot of new openings. Maybe find some right one.
Or maybe he's just looking for strategical battles, not...
In our days we also don't know, maybe his opponent is preparing, playing some lines what he exact prepare, get some position, just to right move orders.
He did actually achieve quite good version of this opening, as against this setup from the white side, black would want to start by playing d5, not c5, as c5 can turn out to be a problem. And I think it's, yeah, it is visible exactly in the line that we see on the board right now, that it's not that easy for black to find full equality already.
It looks like white have a little better position because black already lost important bishop on g7. Not lost, but white get changed. And this white bishop in future can make very strong pressure on this diagonal.
Very logical continuation might be here, some exchanges, an attempt to simplify, but here probably a move queen e5 is quite strong for black, for white.
Yes, and the problem is pawn on b7, so you need to protect him always.
And finally, actually here in this position with the pressure on b7, it helps white also that they have played b3, as in the lines after somewhere taking with the bishop on b7 and rook b8, there is no pawn hanging on b2 anymore.
It's more or less easy play for white.
Yeah, so this is... his opening worked, I would say, a little.
Yes.
Maybe you should see top boards more. Maybe there's some.
See is our woman top player what she is doing.
Laura.
So that's So it looks like we are not very surprised about that. There are only few moves, and Laura already spent almost half hour.
Yes, and the position seems to be very classical.
Very classical. On this position, you don't need to spend half hour.
But it has also potential to get simplified very much, so White has to be careful in case of exchanging of all these 4 pawns, which we often see in these openings. But most likely scenario is that there's gonna be some isolated pawn position.
Yes.
I think Laura just had a game in Liepaja on Sunday against young Latvian player Dimitris Tokranos, where she played this exact setup from the black side, and she stayed with isolated pawn and in very hard
There's
position.
always this question: why spending half hour?
Probably because she was looking to play something else, because she got a very bad position in this game.
Ah, okay.
But maybe she looked at home and some idea she has after all where to improve, and she was just not sure if to go for it or no.
Okay, let's go to first boards back. So here we can not say too much.
Back to first boards, yes. Did we skip some game? Yeah, we can look at the board 3. We still didn't look at this game at all. Where there's playing, it's an Indian player with white, is that correct? Yes.
So board
3.
3, yes. Indian player without title, but you never know about Indians without title.
Or even with title there. Oh, we are speaking, I was just mentioning this yesterday, that they're always dangerous, those when they come to opens tournaments. Those ratings often don't resemble the actual strength because they don't get a chance to play that many in those big open tournaments.
And many Indians who was during other years in RTU Open, now they are already with titles and Grandmaster, International Master titles.
So we see a very aggressive position at the moment. Let's look how it developed, move by move, maybe. So c4, c5.
Yes.
Seemingly all very standard, and h4. It's a very aggressive approach by
Yes, but
white.
Indian player probably was playing this move with idea, so it's out of theory. After this, there is almost no theory. But it's very typical logical move for attacking if black is playing g6. There's many top players using this, but maybe in other move order.
Here, whenever you play move like h4, the big question remains: what if black answers just h6?
Yes, I'm also many times playing this move.
And then the question is h4 actually helpful for you, or you simply have weakened your g4 square? Because h5 is met by g5, and structure should be fine for
Yes,
black side.
should be fine, yes.
So would have been interesting to see what is his plan against h6. But yeah, young grandmaster playing by black chose to play knight f6, e4, knight c6. Very direct and principal approach, just developing pieces. And now we see g4 played.
Wow.
Continuing with the spirit of h4. And the black answered it's h5, very logical, no? So this position, I think, is definitely out of the book already.
Okay, for white, of course, it's almost only move like g5. So the rest of moves don't look very seriously.
Yeah, I think he might be thinking right now about f3. But it doesn't seem like a serious move to me.
Because after f3, you even don't need to take on g4. Of course, later you will take, but you can wait. And f3 making so many weak squares, black black weak squares, then can be later problems.
Why I think he might be thinking about f3 is that now after g5 knight gets to jump to g4. And his idea might be to play f3 and later on with g5. As it's gonna be hard to get the knights out of this knight out of those two outposts there.
Yes, these two squares are quite weak for white.
And still in addition to that they have permanent problem with d4 square.
Okay, if probably for white it's the best way, just play simple d3, taking out pieces, changing one knight, something like this.
Yeah, but then again the question is, did they actually achieve something with h4 g5? This position we actually have on the board already now. Yes, feels like an over-aggressive approach, and
This is black was doing so far all necessary moves, and it looks like they are very good game to this moment.
yeah. Okay, some other top board game. Which one you should look at?
So which one we was not looking before?
We didn't look at all at board 5. So let's see what was happening there. Between Quillan Gary and Predke Alexander. Oh, it
So
saw
English
some
player against Russian player.
Spanish opening, very classical line with fastly playing d4 and d5. Wow, that is a surprising move for me. I have tried this with white side also quite a lot of times actually myself, but only with the move bishop e3, which is by far the main move here by theory. But d5 is something new for me. And it feels that black has achieved very great version of classical Spanish opening. As h3 was played anyways, and all the squares which black would want to have, they have. So I'm not really sure what is the point of this from the white side.
So now it looks like white should take on b5, or in other case they will lose something.
Yeah, now there's a threat to take the pawn, so after exchange probably they are forced to exchange again. Or can there be played something like bishop g5 now? Probably doesn't give too much, as
yes,
black can take on a1 anyways and play rook a8.
Maybe bishop g5 can be interesting idea in future. Maybe first changing rooks, and they play bishop g5 with idea change on f6 bishop against knight, and then play knight e3 and knight d5 to trying to use this white square.
So simply trying to, yeah.
That would be a simple way to play.
Yeah, and then the question is, can black do something about that?
Probably they can do something, but white have solid position, even if it's not main line. It looks well.
It might be, yeah, might be fine totally for white still, of course, but
Of because
I think
there
it's
is
a
no...
dangerous approach from the white side as well, like from because it's very strategical, and there can be some problems I think with b4 somewhere and having these two pawns weak.
If you have knight on d5, you should not afraid from anything.
If I could counter your idea of taking on f6 and prepare a little bit, and my bishop will be on d8 against knight on d5, it also is not that strong there anymore.
Yes, but knight on d5 controlling also b4 square, so it's...
And for now, there's still no threat to play knight e3 because e4 pawn is hanging. So there's...
But are you sure you can take that pawn?
Let's
If
say
the-
h6.
Let's say h6, yes. Bishop take, knight e3,
Yes.
c4, and now it's a question, maybe there is even... very dangerous.
It might be very dangerous, yes, I agree, but...
So first knight d5 is one idea.
Yes, probably I have to play knight g5.
If you play knight g5, that's...
Yeah, it can be also some ideas maybe of taking and bishop coming to e4 now.
Yes, knight take f6 first, with check, knight g5,
Yes.
and you can win exchange on the bishop and endgame.
Yes, this is not...
So
Because,
I suppose this taking on e4...
So knight has to go back to
that's-
c5.
Yes, but now it's different story. Now it's there is b4. White can play b4. Was idea to threatening mate. Queen d3 next move.
And also actually threatening the same idea with bishop
Yes,
e4.
yes, yes. But mate is where you play with knight. So it's even more dangerous. But okay, but here you can win exchange and that is enough.
Mate I could still protect from with knight e6, knight f8, but the exchange is
So, but anyway,
hard to
this
counter.
this pawn is not good to take.
So yes, h6 is probably not the
so
move
maybe
to play.
this can be planned for white.
But
so-
we are not gonna find out because white chose to play a5 here.
Ah, e5. Ooh. Did they sacrifice pawn on e4?
Ah, wow. That
Ah.
is
No, they have tricks. If white take on e4, for example,
with which knight?
any knight, so
Okay.
for example, bishop take on e4, knight take on e4, and maybe there is some tricks with knight e5 or not.
But that's gonna be an exchange down still for white.
What then is point?
This is two pieces.
Yes, that's not done, Max. But what is the point to... No, was this mistake maybe it's not the best idea. Because
Before I have knight takes, one more pawn is falling.
what in this... What is the plan for white here for after this move?
Maybe he simply forgot about this.
Or have some crazy tactic like knight d4?
Knight d4. Wow.
Some funny move. I don't know if that works or not, but
So at the moment I am full piece up.
yes, yes. But
Hard to believe for me in something like this, but
me too, but we are commenting, we can check almost.
probably it's possible to just not react at all and to let you take on c5 and be pawn up.
Yes, but then there is very active, all white pieces being good active position. You need to take with, after, for example, after bishop f6, you need to take, okay, bishop f6.
Okay, I will start with bishop h4 first.
h4. Okay.
If you play g3, in addition there will be pawn hanging on h3.
Okay. I don't care about that pawn. Okay, g3.
And now bishop f6, yes.
g3, there is even maybe some ideas with bishop take h3. Oops, that sounds more dangerous.
Yes, this is interesting.
That I don't like already.
Now then you probably have to play d5.
Yes, but then there is no threat to take on c5.
Yeah, but you can take on e4, but
That's a little bit crazy. Okay, maybe just crazy idea. Okay, let's look other games. We'll stop a little bit.
it looks like white
White
forgot about something, which can also happen in the morning round. I mean,
Yeah.
it's just
morning round is, for some players, is not the best time to play chess.
okay. Some other game, what we didn't still look at, might be by young Russian player Esipenko Andrei, who won yesterday actually in a quite a hard fight against Edgar Sungurs. It seemed like he had a totally dominating advantage, and then at some point he let it slip a little bit by playing maybe too fast, playing maybe a little too much on time, but at the end he managed to squeeze out this points by converting on the endgame very technically.
But it's typical with this time control he was using. Ungurs was having time trouble, and it's very difficult to play in time trouble. So it's
Okay, so what do we see here? We see the position that we had in Laura's game, just with those 4 pawns in the center missing. Like I said, that it can happen very typically.
so maybe they are following each other game there.
Okay, we can see that later. So, about this kind of position, white is usually trying to play for the fact that this bishop is on c8, while this one is active on f4, and it's not easy to develop from c8. So that's the idea of where white is looking to claim some advantage, but it's always tricky because once some pieces start coming off, then position can become also just too
And
simple.
last move was taking on c4 pawn.
Yes,
Yes.
chose
Okay.
not to stay with isolated pawn, but to exchange.
So okay, probably is black trying to get this white bishop in game and playing something like maybe a6, b5. Bishop
Yeah, like that
e7.
without exchanging queens, yes? Yeah.
That is not.
Actually, bishop d7 was played by black.
Okay.
That
So
doesn't
now
seem like
white have a3 b4 idea.
I don't think that bishop d7 is good move.
Yeah.
It feels like it's gonna be hanging there on d7 all the time, and but maybe there's some direct approach how to get it to c6.
I would play a3 b4 trying to get some space.
Yes, that looks very natural and strong.
And you have also square for bishop to where, just in case, if necessary to escape.
So I assume queen
No,
e7?
no,
No, queen
no,
e7, that's
don't
not
try
a good
this.
idea.
So that would
Just a
be
shock.
too simple.
Queen e7 problem is that there's bishop d6,
Yes. Right.
helping out white very much.
Yes. Okay, it's just opening stage, and there will be later more interesting this position.
Yeah, but yeah, of course it will. It might actually not also get interesting at all. If white finds some bind from which black can't get out, then this game can also not get interesting at all, and white can just squeeze out the point. But we'll see what's there next. So should we switch to some other game? Yes.
Yes, I think it's a good point.
Okay, right next to them is playing Yuri Krikon against Yuri Stocek, Czech Grandmaster. Uh, who I had a feeling that often is having trying to squeeze out the point in some more calm positions, but here we see his last move was h5, which is
One of my favorite moves. Maybe not in this position, but Stocek is quite active player. He likes some complications and some moves like this.
But most of the games I see by him, they are very long and very equal endgames.
Yes, but look, they spend both the same about the same time, and it's normal that it's coming to time trouble and some endgame.
So what is happening here after h5? How to assess this position? Is
Of course
white
you need
better
to-
or no?
Oof, of course you need to do something against h4, that's for sure, because just but maybe but it's interesting that maybe black is waiting with this move. They are waiting for knight c3 with ideal take on c3.
Yeah, that could be very much the case because
That would be interesting play with two knights. No, maybe it's not necessary take on c3 if you want to take this pawn. So
I thought it's possible also just to take this pawn because I have a very safe way to cover up the diagonal
okay,
with knight
maybe,
f6.
So maybe normal move in this position was before, instead of h5, something like knight f6, but black
Yes.
decided to play h5.
Because after knight f6, white can play knight c3
Yes,
and
yes, and now it's a normal setup, and now it's this h5 also. It's not maybe not so strong anymore.
yeah, and this position feels like this classical Sicilian kind of position where white is having some space advantage a little,
Yes.
at least.
I think h5 is interesting. So it's making threats with h4 and waiting, especially where white is planning to put knight.
Well, white chose the most calm move, which we spoke about in the similar position, just to play h3.
Yes, it's also logical, because if you play h4 in this position, then your square on g4 is much weaker than square on g5.
Yes, and it's always dangerous to try to control this square with f3.
Yes.
First of all, closing the bishop.
Now even black can play maybe knight h6 or just to...
Just to fight for those squares
Yes.
there, yes.
h3 is logical, yes.
And also, yeah, just move that you... h4 is move that you shouldn't really consider in this kind
Yes.
of structure just at all. So the question was if to allow h4 for black at all or no. Now they are ready to meet h4 with g4.
Yeah. Now h4 don't looks at this moment too nice.
It's an option that black will keep for later to maybe take control on the
Yes.
dark squares, but not now, probably.
Maybe now it's point to think about how to develop those pieces, what they are. Bishop on c8, knight or h6. Because now it's for black little problem to find this move. Like now it's white is on waiting position for what will black doing.
And it's rather hard to avoid playing knight f6 by black now, because everything everywhere is kind of stuck, as b pawn doesn't move, because after some moves like b5 you always have to count with
Yes.
e5. So
And also just taking on b6 also looks nice.
yeah,
After b5.
yeah,
But
doesn't achieve too much for
Yes.
the white side. So hard to imagine other plan than to play knight f6 finally.
no, I would think about playing somewhere with knight on d7. Maybe knight c5, try to change one, because then you get bishop, white bishop in play somewhere. Maybe
Maybe knight e5 to c4, or it's too much.
and then we will not
To
manage
restrict
in
this
time because
restrict this bishop from
Ah.
c1 a little bit.
maybe.
Knight c5, yes, also an option, and here I assume we are taking with the queen.
Yes.
And after bishop e3, there might...
Sure, it's pawn sacrifice. Queen b4.
Queen b4, yes. I'm aware that it's a little risky, but it might be interesting, I think. For example, knight c3 now.
Yes, that looks. But queen f2 take.
Queen b2, my idea was to play bishop b4. d4.
That looks very strange to me. Okay, what's happening if you just take?
Okay, take.
I don't know. Maybe even
Rook
c5.
Rook a2
E5,
is threatening to
E5,
catch the
E5.
queen.
Just asking where you put your queen.
I assume I can't take on d6. There will be no mate. Is that correct?
Looks like no mate there.
Okay, let me try.
c3.
And rook a3.
Oh, even queen d4.
There's queen d4 now, yes. So I have to include rook d1, but then there's no queen e5 threat anymore.
Okay, are they still have this the same position? Or
No, rook b8 was
rook
played
b8.
by it.
Okay. This kind of waiting moves to wait for where white is planning to put pieces. Maybe it's even right move in this position. You prepare b6 in some point, or b5. Put
And
rook in right square, protecting b pawn, and main point waiting for this, not giving this knight c3.
Yes.
Interesting. I think it's not bad.
Very like strategical battle,
Yes,
each
yes.
provoking other side.
Waiting for what opponent will do, which weaknesses will make. Okay, let's go to another game.
Yeah, let's let them think about that. Oh, should we return for that first boards or look at some matchups a little
Okay.
lower? Okay, first boards. We didn't look at Igor's game now for a
Yeah.
very long time, so let's see how is he doing there. We left it at the point when Igor played knight d7, claiming that he's just going for some long battle. Bishop d3, very logical, developing b6, as there was no really other place where to put this bishop from c8, so b6 is just something you play in these positions.
Yes, it's logical to get out white bishop and play.
And it actually transposed to a little, quite classical kind of position from opening perspective. And
Yes.
here he chose to take on c3, probably not having to worry about moves like knight running away and being trapped with his bishop.
Yes. That's very easy to get trapped as bishop if you are too long waiting there with bishop.
So as soon as the king went away from the pin, he is taking. Knight takes. So it was also white's point of playing knight to e2 to be able to recapture with a knight on c3, knowing that black will have to take. And c5 now. Fighting for those squares there for knights. b3, probably just being solid, protecting c4 pawn more.
And getting black bishop in play.
Takes, queen c7. Rook fd1. Guess those are all just very logical, natural moves for now.
Yes, a6 because of knight b5 was some threat somewhere on d6.
c1 and king h8. What is this move about? Is he planning to play g5?
Uh, I suppose yes. Because if you put, for example, two rooks on G line, but of course, so far this bishop on B2 and will be open, then. But I think it's main point to put king on H8 with the idea not to having bishop H7 with check in some lines. That is the main point.
For now, it's hard for me to imagine in which lines, though. But
No, if there in some point will close position like D5, white will play D5, and black will play E5. Maybe after you can even by G line attack. But I think it's just prophylactic move to make sure that on H7 cannot take with check.
well, I wouldn't be surprised knowing Igor's play that G5 is gonna come very soon. And G5, G4 might be his idea. Then the rook coming to G5, other rook going to G8, and just going this kind of attack, and always being ready to meet D5 by E5.
But I suppose we don't recommend to those who are listening us to play those ideas like G5.
Yeah, it's just
It's very dangerous.
this is kind of
Don't do that at home.
yeah, exactly. This is yeah. Okay, let's look at board 2. Okay. This one we left in the opening phase after bishop G5. There was some Greenfield kind of line approaching. Knight E4 straight away was played. Maybe not the main move anymore, because usually you're trying to play Knight E4 with the Knight F3 played. So white is straight away capturing and just reaching what I think is quite favorable position for himself. B2, Queen D6, and castle. Just two bishops. Slightly better pawn structure, and what's more importantly, quite easy game, I think. While black is having to struggle with every single move.
Yes, because pawn on F5, E4 is weak, and in case if position will open, these two bishops will work very well. But I suppose we should take account that they know each other quite well, and probably because of that they didn't play some main lines.
Yeah, that's very possible. But do you know that they know each other, or?
I think that they know each other. They are.
Okay, now white's plan can be sometimes to play also just rook b1, a3, b4 to get some space there, and also just to maybe open up the f file, or that is not really a plan.
So, but black is also planning to take knight out on e5, on knight d7, knight e5, trying to get some play for knight. And some positions maybe e6, trying to...
And white has to be a little bit careful with this bishop in some lines, not to forget that it doesn't have too many moves there. For now, I guess it's not really possible to catch it yet, but for example, if I would get to play, if I had f5 on the board, and I could play now e5,
Yes.
it already might be quite dangerous for this guy here. So this
Yes.
is something to keep in mind for a white player.
But maybe because of that, it's a good point to try to put queen somewhere where it's not under this line, where it's protected.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, probably. Some queen c2, just putting maybe pressure there, and also just being ready to switch to the queen side. Okay, what other game we should be looking at?
So board 3.
Oh, board 3, this I like.
Board 3. What we was talking about.
This game I like to look at. It's not too much theory, and this is just some creative chess. So after knight g5, knight g4, I'm sorry, there was played f3,
F3.
knight d5, and now d3.
Yes.
Black is just doing all the normal moves, and white
Yeah.
is improvising very much.
Yes, but from other side, white is have very simple plan. They want to put knight on e2, bishop on e3, protecting pawn on c4, and then play d4. And what you can do against that?
Well, for now, white has to also keep in mind knight b4 ideas, and because I think right now, after knight b4, they are forced to go back bishop f1.
Yes, but for example, can you put back, chef? For example, if white is playing not
This
white is playing just knight e2. If you play knight e2,
Oh, but it's black to move.
Ah, black to
so
move,
we have
okay.
to skip a move. So, okay, let's say castle.
let's say castle, knight e2, for example, knight b4.
Now we have.
It's always possible also protect with knight f4.
Yeah, now it is possible, of course.
And next move is a3, and everyone is going back. So I don't think it's real threat. It's knight b4. It's just for one move, and then position is going.
Although after a3, I'm not forced to go back, as I can play still queen a5 and generate some extra tactics there.
I think white would be very happy about your ideas to generate extra
Yeah,
tactics.
I would, for example, queen a5 now.
So is there threats?
I want to play b5.
In some point there will be castle.
But it's not there yet.
What is there any threats?
I want to play b5 right now.
Okay, castle.
Castle. Okay, a6. b5.
I don't think that is serious move.
Probably bishop e3 is good enough now.
Yes, bishop e3.
I'm not in time for that yet.
Yes, you are pawn down.
But that's why I would like to try to play knight b4 straight away without castle, as I don't need this castle that much, and now just after knight b4,
Knight b4, bishop f1.
and now to go queen a5.
Queen f5.
And it's not that easy for white to develop those pieces.
I'm more optimistic about white position here. Maybe because I'm playing also sometimes destruction with pawns on c4, g3, e4, but my pawns never get so far on g5.
Yeah, that's a little slight change. At the moment, white's only one piece has left the first rank, and it's moved 10.
Okay, here maybe white plan can be simple. Just move king f2, king g2, go. So it's
That might be an attempt to escape this all. Yes, agree.
because r3, bishop e3 anyway will come. So it's if you don't have some forced, some real ideas there. So what is the plan to play queen f5?
Well, I did achieve something by forcing you to go to f2.
Yes, but I want to make castle. I'm happy to get king in king side.
Now if I could castle somewhere and get my rook on this rank, opening it up, it wouldn't be that bad. But let's say, yes, like castle and...
Okay. For example,
and f5 is...
thank you very much. Now I can attack.
With the king on g2?
Easy. Taking on f6. Oh,
Taking an f6, now... What do
I
I take with?
actually, I would play this game easily. Bishop g5. a3.
I don't mind to do those few moves backwards because I think that now my knight is gonna go very nicely to d4.
This position there is even ideas with b4.
Are there?
But it's just in style of this position. If you're ready to play with white h4, g4, why you are not ready to move with king on g2?
Yeah, but these
It's safe
are
king
still
there.
standing there. That's the problem, that these pieces are not developed, and the bishop from f1 is not gonna get developed, probably with the king on g2.
Okay, b4. Taking on d4.
Okay, I'll just take them all.
Knight d5. Rook c1. Following attack.
Okay, the idea now is, I assume, just c5. Okay, knight d4.
c5.
I don't mind giving up a little bit of those pawns. Now,
Oh,
queen
okay,
F-
we are a little bit far away, but it's just. I think in this game we can expect that there will be some interesting movement with. But actually, in game,
knight b4 was
Donchenko
played,
just played knight b4 and bishop f1 was coming. So
and castle now was played by black, and this is the position at the
I
board.
think castle is much more logical because queen f5. I suppose it's not the move what I
think-
would like to play.
I think that if a3 is played, queen a5 might come.
Ah, okay.
So after a3 now. Actually we can simply argue that black won a tempo, because instead of bishop g2 in this previous position, white chose to play a3,
Mm-hmm.
a3 castle, and so might be also just a point like this, and that's the
Yeah,
reason to-
that's can be idea. Yes. With that I agree.
Okay, and I think that now this games very much are in this phase where they are thinking much just after the
Yeah.
opening, and we have looked slightly on all the top boards, and I think we could go for some short break and
Yes, I think
we
it's a
come
good idea.
later. Okay, thank you and stay tuned. less time, and there are already some first draws, uh, which is quite fast, I think, actually, for the second round that they are there. But there are also some games that might be decided very soon with some interesting fights, and we'll be looking at them. Uh, for now, first board, where Kovalyenko Igor is playing with black, he has gotten some his kind of strategical position, blockade on d4.
Yes, like we was saying that he is waiting for time trouble and then will make final decisions about right stuff, what to do.
Yeah, so there's just gonna be a lot of maneuvering back and forth, and yeah, not much I think for us to speak about there right now.
Oh, of course, two knights against two bishops, it's always interesting, because normally two bishops are much better, but in this kind of positions when knight have nice square on d5 and white bishops are don't having a lot of space to do something.
And it's interesting that we don't see g5 on the board.
Yes.
It didn't happen, so king
He
is
was
just...
not listening us for winning short game. He was trying to play a little longer. But let's look how it's happening in game.
Okay, how it happened, we left it after the move king h8. I was expecting g5 to happen any moment. But even after move f3, which is kind of still under g5, g4.
But maybe this was the idea to provocate in this position something.
Though, yes, f3 might be also kind
Waiting
of
for g5.
exactly, because g5, knight d4 is already something to consider. And having like this very strong pawn center.
Yeah.
So he reacted with d5. cd, bishop takes d5. And yeah, white chose to take on d5.
Yes, probably white was thinking that this will be more easy with two bishops and changing queens to play against strong player.
So now we also see the idea behind king h8. It's not to have a check after lines of taking on d5, so that now there would be no knight takes f6 check anymore.
Oh, so maybe that was the main idea why he played king h8, not because of prophylactic not taking on h7.
Yes, and white simply wasted time with f3 move in that position. And yes, they just got already to this position straight away. Not that many moves. And I expect that it's gonna be a very hard game for white player ahead.
It will be a very long game. But okay. What is the plan for white? What to do?
Probably they have to double on c file, at
Yes.
least try to. So I assume rook c6, like, is the most natural way how to do it. Just still to target those pawns on the 6th rank a little bit.
Yes, but with rook c6 you should be also careful. There at some point will be knight b4 and
Yes, at some point, that's right.
yes. So
So it's not that easy to double also those rooks there.
yes. Okay, just theoretical. If white can change two rooks, probably it would be about equal position because two bishops, it's nice, but if position is not open, so it's very difficult to play for win for black. So probably black need to keep one rook, maybe.
Yeah, and I think Igor is gonna do that. He's gonna keep one pair
Yes,
of rooks.
because if we're taking rooks away, so it's not much left.
In case white tries now to double, I assume that he will exchange one rook, and then his king is gonna march somewhere there.
Yes. Well, I suppose that white will try to put king also in better space, maybe king f2.
Maybe to
somewhere,
d2 somewhere.
because protecting from knight e3 threats at some point. Yes.
Assume both of the kings will come to the center, as it's
Yes.
usually seen in endgames.
And maybe trying to double rooks on c line in some way.
Yeah, and black is, I assume, will try to expand somewhere with the pawns to get some more space to restrict those bishops even more.
So maybe in this position, first move can be king f2 for white to getting little better.
I think it could be answered by king g8.
Yes, and then next move trying to play rook c4.
c4.
Yes, protecting also from b4.
And now after rook c8
and rook c1. So getting rooks on c line.
and it's not that easy to exchange this one rook for black now.
Yes. So maybe something like this can be planned. But probably Igor have some ideas how to improve his pieces. But it's not so easy, no?
It's not gonna be easy to leave one pair of rooks on the board. He could of course play rook d8 and bring king to d7 and exchange all four rooks, but not that easy to keep one pair.
Yeah. And black probably will try to first to take this a rook out of this bishop line, to put somewhere one of rooks on d line, maybe.
Yeah, and once also we put one of the rooks on d file, we can have ideas of moving this knight
Yes.
and trying to maybe push back the bishop with f5.
Or in some lines even taking this bishop on e4.
Ah, yes, that's also a possibility. Sometimes maybe just to take and create some little hanging pawns, almost.
Okay, Igor is specialist for endgames, so I suppose he will find some interesting ideas what to do. Okay,
Yeah.
let's look next.
For
game.
sure. On board 2 not much happened, so since we left it, they just carried out the plan that we spoke of. Before a3 was played, knight is on
Yes,
d7.
he was right.
Black exchanged black squared bishop. Seems like a correct decision, as potentially once rook would leave the long diagonal, there would be not much job for the bishop on g7 anymore. And now white doesn't enjoy a bishop pair.
But I don't see that here is some advantage for white.
Yeah, I agree. I'm also looking at this position and I'm just starting to like black.
Because before it was feeling that should be something. But here, because black have a very simple plan, protect this, maybe play something b6.
If it's even necessary at all, because
Yes,
knight
maybe
is ready
not.
to take on c5 any moment. And just start rolling with those pawns as far as
Yes,
possible.
Maybe.
Yeah, it's very interesting because again there is some bishop which has a potential to stay as a very bad piece.
Yes, even this black knight is now is more interesting for getting some play.
Yeah, quite unexpected turn of events for me, like this assessment of position that is so suddenly changed.
And also it's important, it is easy for black to easy plan. King g7, f5 maybe.
Yeah, so let's just wait and see what is white player going to choose to
Okay, now is
change
black mode.
Now it's black to move, yes. Black has
Actually, black is now that player who is choosing plan. Because white now can just wait what black will do.
this
So only white plan what I see that's trying to play something like f3 and trying to open little bit position.
yeah, so but I think f5 is the move which might be needed in any of the positions. It's simply expanding, and also after f3 I still want f5 on the board.
Yes, but there is also some ideas maybe for white to put one rook on d line and trying to play d6.
Yeah, that could be, of course. Which rook it could be?
Maybe this one.
And I thought that I have rook f6 against this idea.
And maybe now f3.
3? I assume I have to take this one.
Take his pawn. was thinking maybe it's don't need to take. Okay, take
I
with G pawn.
didn't want to
Take
allow
with
f4 really,
take with G pawn.
but now black squares are becoming even more and more weak. And this bishop is having less and less potential.
I would not be so sure. Just taking on f4. And bishop d3, getting bishop in play. So an E line is opening. I would
This is
getting
getting
more fun.
definitely more fun, and it's a lot of interesting ideas there.
Yes. Okay, maybe this position is not so simple like we're thinking. Let's players think. And actually they already made one move. Black
Just
played
play
rook
rook
c8.
c8. I was expecting rook c8 actually as the
Yeah, it's
human
a
approach.
prophylactic move to just to take care about this important square.
Yeah, maybe sometimes to also put some pressure on c4 pawn,
Yes.
if maybe some tricky ideas like knight b6 or queen going back and knight coming to e5, and then white
Yeah,
is actually
that's queen going back and knight coming to e5 also looks interesting. Yeah.
maybe even ideas like queen g5, knight e5, and then both to both directions having those ideas with the knight.
Okay, let's look what going on in next games.
Should we look at the board 3 again?
Oh, that's funny again.
They have been playing some moves, so it's very interesting to see what were they. We left it after castle. a3 knight c6 was played without my queen f5.
Yeah.
More civil way.
Yeah.
Bishop g2 went back.
Back, yes, okay.
a6.
But it can be some idea because making some activity on queen side
To just get some active play, yeah, because white pawn storm, it has to be broken in some way.
yes, like should do something because those ideas with f6 I don't like. That's his opening king. There are a lot of weak squares after that. So b5, pawn sacrifice.
Yes, and white is forced to accept it, I assume, because b3 is met by b4.
Yes, okay.
There is b4, and this pin is probably gonna turn out not favorable
Yes,
for white.
yeah.
So f4 was played, knight g4, and a castle.
Okay, I would say. Okay, normally this kind of positions you cannot take on b5 because if you take a few moves back, for example, no, one move back.
Here,
So,
yes.
for example, here, if taking on b5, taking with pawn and taking, there is bishop a6, and very danger for white to play now.
Big pressure on d3 pawn.
Yes, black is getting a lot of for this one pawn, lot of activity in center. So it's typical manner for this kind of positions. What better white should not take.
Yeah, exactly. So f4, knight g4,
So
castle.
it looks logical for white what he did.
Yeah, and actually that's why I don't like a little bit the plan how black carried it out, because it doesn't feel like they achieved too much with the whole a6 b5 right now, and white is actually doing something.
Oh, of course, black knight on the g4 is great, but it's question if there is other pieces who can help make.
Yes, because for now he's alone there.
And Indian player, he is following his active play. He don't care about his opponent rating. He's going for attack.
And now there are appearing a lot of some crazy tactics, I assume. But well, with the knight on g4, what black wants is they want to do something either on this or on this diagonal.
Yes, they're trying to use this to black diagonals to get some mate threats or some winning some exchange threats also.
So what happens if you play just b4 right now? Very directly.
I would not be afraid from this move too much.
You cannot take on b4 as because this will open the queen b6 check.
No, but not. I think anyway, taking on b4, it's not giving any problems so far. Okay, take on b4.
Now I got an extra idea just to take with the knight as well.
So what is the idea for this move?
To control d5 square and to play bishop a6 and to win the pawn on d3.
Okay, pawn on d3, that's not most danger idea. But so white can get very quick pieces out in game. Maybe bishop f4.
Bishop
just with
f4.
tempo.
Okay, but what will be the next move?
Yes, but your idea with d5 is not anymore.
No, I was controlling d5 only for knight d5 to avoid. I didn't want to play d5 myself. Now f5 pawn is even hanging.
Yes, bishop on f4, maybe it's not the best place for bishop. So maybe that move was wrong.
Knight f4 might be, I think, an option if it works, because it targets g6 pawn. But if it works, of course, because there are some things that white have to consider.
Okay, exchange is not the worst in this position, so it's maybe can even sacrifice. but it's not necessary. I think it's too early to sacrifice.
And I think I could just also play queen c7, not taking the exchange, but simply tying the knight, as there is always going to be mate on h2.
Yes, queen e2, slowly protecting. You should count in some points just come bishop h3 and also take this good knight away, so cannot playing so slowly.
Okay, I will not play so slowly.
Okay, that's not slowly anymore. So you want to trade some mate ideas.
And I just want to take on f5 this pawn, I think. And to secure my own position a little bit, opening my bishop.
Yeah, that would be funny position. So get this one. Okay, maybe before that would be one idea what can play in this position. So they didn't play any.
No, they didn't. Black is thinking. Black has a lot of time to think about this position. Still almost 1 hour on the clock, so a lot is possible. We can look at the board 4, where I expect the game to actually finish rather soon. What's surprising for me, from the first glance I saw that there was some theoretical position.
Yes.
What I think was theoretical. A lot of exchanges. Knight d5,
Yeah.
rook e1, and it felt that white should be a little bit more pleasant, but suddenly everything got liquidated.
Yes.
And then there came endgame, where in this position white went backwards. Did he miscount something, and he actually thought that this is very good for him and he'll play for a win, but there's too much activity for black, and he's simply going after these pawns here.
Maybe first white was thinking that there is easy plan to get king there in the queen side and take all pawns, but it looks like black also have the same plan to get with king very quick to all this.
Actually, there is an additional idea that black can take on a2 first of all. Second of all, bishop d5 and winning g2 pawn.
I think it's after king e5 there is black who is playing for win.
Yeah.
Because you need to put bishop out of somewhere on d3 or f3,
Yeah,
And
and it's hard to choose which
yes,
one actually.
okay, any move. For example, if bishop d3, just giving check and take on g2, not taking this pawn on a2. And those 2 pawns are running quite fast.
But now I will have a pawn after all.
But the problem is that maybe black can try to play somewhere bishop d3, try to...
Something like this, yeah?
Yes. For example, if one moment back. For example, if black is playing g4 first, king take e7, if we don't count other moves. H4, king b6, g3, and black is winning.
Ah, right, h3 just.
Yes.
That's very simple. And
Yes, it's just without counting all small moves, but
very simple, very effective.
yes. And surprising way that black get faster in queen than white.
The one and only pawn which is left
You
on the
need
board.
only pawn, one pawn, what is getting to queen.
Yeah, this is very nice, and probably he realized this from
Yes,
white that
he realized that, and he was going back and just...
and now he's defending slightly worse endgame, but
It's not
once
slightly worse, it's probably about...
he's in time to put his pawns on black squares probably,
Yes,
and that's
yes,
it.
it's looks like very equal position, just...
If I could reach h4 and king on f4, I think it might be slightly worse, but unfortunately
No,
I cannot reach it.
It also depends if where is white king. If white king is coming to f2, and it's even there is nothing, not much left.
Yes, that's true. So yeah, this is probably gonna finish in a draw
Okay,
quite
yes,
soon.
Yes, I think yeah, there is not much to play for white, and also for black there is not much ideas.
Not a great morning round for fourth seed of the tournament.
Yes, maybe he was trying to get too easy this morning point.
Yeah, probably he underestimated this whole check on f7, and he thought that he's actually pushing.
Yes. Good game for black.
On board 5 we see that black took the pawn, which we thought it was hanging there.
Oh, they took.
And he's up almost, he's up more than 40 minutes on the
So that
clock.
we was
and
right. This R5 idea was
just a
wrong,
blunder.
wrong idea. Just
It was just a blunder, as we saw here. White played a5 and black took... Oh, knight d4. But
what
the
we was talking about.
thing is that black even chose not to count anything.
Ah, so that maybe there was some complications. But if you have one extra pawn, you can just
If
play
there is
simple chess.
no reason for complications, then
Yes,
maybe
yes.
he's just fine to play like this, because still there's no b4.
Yes, but
He's
you see,
simply-
knight d4 idea was right.
And f3, he simply retreated, and he's just playing a position pawn up.
Yes, okay, maybe white have a small compensation because they have two bishops, and maybe those can use some white squares, but normally
Still
should
with
be no big trouble for no trouble to win for black.
Yeah, I think this game is it's just about the matter of white running out of time, and then the game should finish.
Yes, then white will try to play sacrifices, so typical English players, and time trouble sacrifices, and then we'll see some fun for us too.
Yeah, that's hopefully. I like
Please.
sacrifices when they are there. Next board was this was the opening. I don't recall what was here. We left it. Ah, this isolated pawn.
Yeah. So taking. bishop c7.
A2, knight b6, everything that we
rook
expected.
d1. Yes.
Queen d6, very logical. 6 and okay, white.
So maybe white change this bishop against knight because didn't found any good place for bishop where to put. If you
Yes.
don't change bishop, then it's question where to put this knight bishop.
Yeah, that's true, because knight on g3 is, was not allowing Retreat on h4 because we lose a piece.
No, no, no. There is trick. Queen g6.
Oh wow.
This is typical tricks for this kind of position.
So then why not?
Because of that, I like this white bishop always in this position.
So why not to play bishop h4 now?
No, I think it's a point because first black will close this white bishop with some maybe.
Yeah, but with what?
No, the point is if you play bishop b1,
Maybe-
the idea mate, then is there g5 move.
Maybe that there is queen f4 anyways, forcing to take, so he chose just to
Yes,
take.
yes, that's
In case
possible.
he misses
Yes.
some other ideas. So, yeah, he took, and white chose to play d5.
d5.
But that means an open position with two bishops for black player.
That's a strange decision about d5 because if you should play against two bishops, you are normally not opening position. In open position, two bishops are always stronger.
A lot of players, they are simply afraid to play with isolated pawn, and it might be also the case in here that the lower
Yes,
rated player was
lower rated player will make decision that he will have more chances to play in position, whereas
more symmetrical structure.
yes.
So, but here he seems to be struggling and just creating some more weaknesses for himself. Rook is kind of stuck on b1 for now, and knight is not nicely placed on g3.
But there is question about there is pawn sacrifice. B7,
Bishop takes b7.
or that's some tricks what's planning.
It looks rather dangerous, but okay.
Yes, but pawn is pawn.
Now we have to worry about bishop b3 ideas.
You can play now back bishop d5. Say I don't know nothing.
Oh, this is a lot of counting to actually prove that this is not good.
Oh, it's probably
Probably I
like-
could take like this. Now I can take here. And now play like queen g5.
yes, but anyway, you are pawn down.
I will take on g3 if I have to.
There is some tricks, maybe. Or what if just okay, even if you take on g3, so what will be position?
It's probably not much for black, definitely, yes, but there are some ideas. The king is much weaker for white, so...
I will play queen c5.
Going for another pawn? Ah, okay.
No,
Knight e7 is the threat, yes, so I
It's
have...
knight e7, it's one threat if there will be possibility. And
Okay,
from
so
other side,
after queen g3. You want to take on a7, or this is...
why not take?
This looks a little over-ambitious from my point of view, but...
And queen f2 back, and I am happy. You will get your pawn, 1 pawn back, but you will not win this position.
I think I would be pushing here for quite some time, and I also don't need to take it back straight away.
Ooh, that can be danger. You will not get that pawn anymore. And is there no tricks with f4?
f4, f5? Yes.
Yes. Be careful. Okay, but the point is that in this position, even playing just simple move, knight c3 back, so it's okay. But f4, f5, white starting play for win.
Maybe, yes. It's might get dangerous for black here as well after
Okay.
if it works.
Are they have the same position? So bishop e6, probably he counts something else. But what's the point? Okay, let's look one more time. What is the point for... Maybe there is point to using this weak a3 square, putting somewhere knight c4, knight e3. That can be idea.
But firstly, what to do with the rook? Rook b8? We are playing or we are not playing it?
I would say I don't like this. If I would sacrifice here, I would sacrifice in way, maybe rook d8, not to giving this bishop d5 back.
Okay, rook d8, yes, that's going to be interesting. So now,
And then planning all these tricks with knight c4, knight e3, or even some ideas later with h5 and h4.
might not be that easy for white to do any moves here, yes. Okay, so for example, I retreat.
Well, even queen, if knight c4, yes, following.
Knight c4,
plan.
I have to go knight f1.
So
Now I want to just start exchanging some rooks.
okay, rook c8, don't exchanging rooks, and threatening knight a3.
Knight a3, okay. And now I'll go for the a7 pawn.
Okay, that pawn is not important at all.
In case we start to exchange everything, I might escape here with white by grabbing the a7 pawn.
I have a feeling that you are in very short time in big trouble.
Maybe just
I don't know
a5.
which one, but you are in maybe a5, yes. There is some ideas with queen g5 and using this black squares. So maybe black have some activity. They want to make complicated game, and maybe that is right way to do that.
Yes, after moves like g3 we can even regroup the bishop to the other side. And
Yes, or bishop e5, attacking this c3 one more time.
Or yeah, going back for material.
That
Yeah.
you can get back something. So there are
Definitely no risk for black
Okay.
here. Some other games we can maybe now look at some more interesting matchups for us,
yeah.
like some Latvian players. Let's see how is, for example, Nikita doing in his game. A lot happened here. He played Oleg in defense.
Let's get a little bit back position.
We left it after h3
So
bishop
you
h5.
was right again. Young Estonian guy is getting in time trouble, like you said before. Just 20 minutes left.
It's actually not that big time trouble, but yes, what's more important is
Well,
he's
but
40
don't-
minutes down on
But
the
don't
clock.
forget that there is no extra time after 40 moves. That is already time trouble.
That's true. The amount of moves is not that important here when there's nothing after 40 moves.
Okay.
So Nikita
d5.
chose to play d5 himself straight away.
Mhm.
Maybe with the point of keeping the position just much more intense for longer time. b3, drawing back the knight, and now choosing to take.
Of course, taking is a pawn.
Yeah, to open up the rook without any trouble. Bishop e2, c5. Feels like black is enjoying a very easy game.
Black? Are you sure about that?
At least plan-wise, that it's just it's more easy. Everything is just going forward.
Yes, but the big problem can be those knights, if they will get good squares.
Okay, seemingly that did. Like in the game, it was taking, and now there's only one knight left, and
So
he's doing very
I
good.
would not take on c4. I would try to play immediately something in
f5? Sacrificing?
so there is so far as b3 pawn is protected. So maybe
It's protected wall. Okay. But the threat
okay.
is knight to
Threat is knight e5. then.
f5 with capturing on b5.
Okay, maybe you need to take on c4. Yes, okay.
And there's no other way to protect, yes, the knight there. And still the same threat is, so he chose to take bishop c4. And also bishop is
Yeah,
hanging,
bishop,
so it's
yeah.
forced.
Okay.
And now he played a4. But this structure feels very dominant from the black side.
Yes, because square d5 squares looks very nice for black. If they're putting knight, for example, on d5, it will control everything around.
Or even just queen d5 is also very much controlling. And knight could even choose to go to d3.
That's also possible, but if queen play on d5, maybe white in some point will change queens. And I'm not so sure that it's good to change queens. Because queens are more chances to win. Because if also more possibilities attack for a pawn.
Yeah, that's
Okay,
true.
what was in game?
Queen
Queen
f3
f3?
was played.
Yes.
Knight b4, very logical, and f5 white played.
Fine.
Well, they have to try something.
Yeah.
Actually, we have a lot more moves.
Okay.
Nikita chose to exchange queens and simply to block the pawn on d5. So what's gonna happen here is gonna be good bishop against bad bishop.
Are you sure it's good bishop against bad bishop? I'm not so sure. Because this position, if there will be no knight on d5, there will be no blockade bishop. I'm a little bit afraid that Nikita
Rushed.
made the right direct decision about taking on e5.
He rushed maybe a little bit.
Because the point is that if black is moving bishop somewhere, and there is very easy play for white with, for example, d5, opening bishop and getting
Yes,
central
that is
free
true.
pawn, attacking on king side. If changing knights, then there is not so many pieces left on board.
Yeah, and that might be a problem also, that these two pawns, they can be weaknesses at some
Yes.
points. You have
For
to protect
example, we look at simple change. Knight take, bishop take, and now it's problem what to play.
them. b5.
b5 looks most logical move in this position.
But the question is, does it work? Of
Yes.
course. So we have to take
Even changing just and
b6, c3, sorry. Do we need this pawn? Probably it's hard to justify the game otherwise.
it's a need to play this. Yeah, if you want something, you need to play. Okay, only move is rook f1 probably, or not only.
Rook f1, and now either bishop g5 or bishop a3.
Yes.
Okay, I guess bishop a3 to restrict this bishop from a1 even more. And it's black is winning a piece here.
Yes. So maybe that is plan. That can be good plan. Okay, let's go a few moves back. Check one more time. So because it's forced line.
It's very forced, yes.
So knight takes c3.
Bishop takes and
bishop
b5.
b5. So
We cannot really allow b4. That's gonna be just too much. Instead of one pawn rolling, there will be two.
yes. So what else can do white here?
There are some ideas like e6, but it doesn't accomplish much as b4 is coming anyways.
You know? Maybe that is interesting.
a6, b4,
b5, rook take f7 maybe?
a rook takes f7.
Yes,
Okay,
but
this is
but
interesting.
normally it should, black pieces are better for running, but
It's not easy to keep the bishop on this diagonal. Bishop f8.
no,
Are we playing?
bishop f8 it looks dangerous. You can even after bishop f8 play like rook a f1 with idea e7. So getting some.
Yeah, so maybe, but in that case, it's not easy to find a move for this bishop.
And there is also some other idea. For example, bishop f8. Maybe they even sacrifice exchange rook for bishop because it's important bishop and take on b4. Rook take f8 and take on b4.
Yeah, that is of course also an option that you have to worry about, but yeah. This is definitely very double-edged because black still has c pawn.
Yes, bishop c5. Not so sure that is so. If those two pawns will run, then
Yeah, bishop c5, it's blocking.
okay, that is some idea. But okay, let's go one more time back. So, maybe we are missing some simple stuff. So it's here.
Here, so.
It's. I'm not surprised that Nikita now is counting.
Okay, bishop d6. Yeah, I like this move a little better.
Okay, rook d7.
And now I'm playing rook a6. So if you are sacrificing, at least I get to take on d4.
Is there no moves like E7 somewhere?
e7. But this is very complicated, of course, to count it all. Yeah, and again, black is forced probably to give up some material somewhere. Simplify just too much, and it might be not possible to create anything
The
anymore.
problem is that in many lines, also white can sacrifice that exchange. And then if there is pawn on e7,
Yeah,
quite
this
seriously.
e pawn is running very fastly.
yes, this one c pawn will not. What was position
And
in game? In game was knight c3.
Knight
So
c3
is there
and
was other moves. So just look. looking
just
for-
still quickly, I wanted to look at rook e8.
That looks more logical. Yes.
Yes.
That is stronger.
Didn't come to my mind that rook can also simply retreat like this. So now white would need to do some direct
now
approach.
it looks for black like good chances for playing for win.
Of course, that endgame is still not that clear, if even sacrificing now.
Yes.
Here, rook takes e6,
For
and
example, a5. Yes.
a5, yes.
Yes, that is still. This pawn is quite far away.
And even if we exchange a pawn for c pawn, it's
Yes.
not certain that black can create enough game.
I think now. I suppose that Nikita will take on c3 because other moves don't look like
They
will
look like
have
black might end up even in some trouble, maybe sometimes.
yes, and he's now counting this b5 move.
But
What
if
is-
not b5, then are there any alternatives?
I don't see any good moves instead of that, because what is other plan? So what?
Yeah,
Yeah.
other than that, there are just weaknesses. So
yes,
it's,
b5 it's like automatically. Okay, b5 automatically take on b5 is also looks like. Okay, we check this.
seemingly
e6.
taking on b5 is losing a piece.
Yes.
So e6 is this move that maybe he missed from the distance, and now he actually sees it and he's counting it.
Yeah, that can be.
And with e6 idea main is that we open up the rook to take on b5. So we are forcing black to take some action.
Yes, and almost for playing for win looks like b4 it's almost forced.
Yeah, the only way, and after rook f7, rook e8 seemingly is the
It was,
only try.
Yes, I think it's good practical chances. And we should take account also that there is this time is still end of game, so it's
Yeah, it's only 14 minutes for white.
yes. I think Nikita now counted a lot of long lines, and
Yeah.
then he will play faster to get his opponent in real time trouble.
Yeah, he'll
Okay.
make some decision and
Let's
just
look other
play it
games.
out. Oh, some other games. We have some Latvian players maybe playing more.
Yes.
We could look at Laura's game.
Yeah, that would be interesting. Suppose, okay, I was right. Suppose she's in time trouble.
She's 1 hour down.
Okay, let's look what was in game.
In the game we left it in the opening after c5 right
Yeah.
here. D takes c5 happened, bishop takes c5, and yes, they go to the isolated pawn position. Bishop d3, knight c6, developing moves, all very logical for now. I guess both sides are just
Yeah.
preparing for the battle. And bishop a6 came, wow.
Tactic. Is that working out?
This is very surprising. It's very hard to assess it like instantly, as I did not expect this one.
I was having in one of my games this kind of tactic also, taking on a6, but here it looks little.
Here's bishop e3, which was the way not to give up a pawn.
Yes.
She chose, and they want to reach such. Ah no, a2 pawn is still holding. So a lot came off very fastly, and the question is, in the resulting position, what is happening? Why? It doesn't look like white played it the best, because after I take on b2, there might not be that much game left. Okay, we don't take on b2.
but still, white is better because of bishop is playing on both sides. It looks very strong on d4, and there is still b pawn.
Yeah, with b pawn alive, this is very important detail.
And it's question how to put black knights now.
In knight d7, very logical to control both c5 and
Yes,
e5.
trying to play maybe some point e5, e4.
Bishop c3, prophylactically. And also probably preparing this knight's maneuver through d4. And she went for sacrifice. Oh wow. This is very surprising decision. She, I think, already recently did such a mistake in the game as well, that when time trouble approached, she made a sacrifice when it was not necessary yet. What was happening after this e5? Is there some tactical problem?
I think she was not happy about moves like queen d1.
Queen d1.
First you protect knight on f3 for sacrifices.
Okay, and I don't have d4 because of
See,
simple
that's
moves like
because of c4 knight, yes.
yes. Okay, so and after moves like queen f7.
So now knight is free to do something.
It feels like this position is fine for black.
Yeah, maybe this was better idea than sacrifice.
Sacrificing is always dangerous.
Yes, why not play this?
And actually there's some potential. If I manage to carry out b4, then white will have to worry constantly about b4 pawn.
No, the point is that so black can play idea e4 with later knight e5, knight d3. And when you put those two knights on the squares, d5 pawn is okay, and it's not so easy to do something for white.
Yeah, and there's also some potential actually for
attack for
the
king, yeah.
So
Okay, what was in game?
yes, what's happening after this sacrifice? Sacrifice, check, king h2, queen f5, and this is the position where white is thinking at the moment.
The one of problems what have black in this position, that there is G line is open now.
Yeah, G line is open now, and it feels like I would like to play rook g1 already straight away. Of course, there is a possibility on with e5 to close it up all.
Yes, but there is also maybe some small tactic like maybe d4. With
D4.
idea if bishop take d4, queen f4 check.
Yeah, but it's unfortunately it
Or it's not
backfires a
right.
little bit,
No.
as I have another check here.
Maybe it's better put rook on g3, so then there's...
Or maybe rook on g3, yes. But the idea is that still I'm winning
Yes.
a knight.
And after is... Okay, I understand what you mean. After is rook d1. It's taking also...
No, I'm taking on c4.
Ah, on c4, yes.
So that's the
Mhm,
problem.
Okay, that's
So-
not
So
right.
this tactic doesn't work, but
So that means it's rook g1 is a very serious move.
there is e5. Yet e5 gives us more time to regroup, as there are some more weaknesses to play against.
But did you want not play rook g3 instead of queen?
Rook g3. Okay.
Because at some point you can get two rooks there maybe. Or it's... Or maybe knight f6, knight h4 is idea also.
Of course, those knights are gonna jump around those squares now very much. And this is very aggressive decision by Laura. I mean, it has
Yes,
potential, of course, definitely.
Maybe it's right decision. Maybe she tried to make more complicated with help of some tactic.
Yeah, I definitely made the position more complicated. There's no question about that. But I usually, when I see that I have no time, I'm usually trying to make the position more simple, not more complicated. And
Okay, it depends of style of playing.
well, I mean, in the situation where opponent has 1 hour on the clock and he can just count everything.
Okay, let's look other games.
You can look at the game by our neighbor from Lithuania, Laurusas, as I see that his king was on d6, and that's always very
Wow.
interesting.
King on d6. So what we can say, Laurusas is in last year is getting much stronger players than before. He's making some GM norms and having some very good scores, and also in Baltic Zonal tournament.
Yeah, and actually in all the time formats, in Blitz and Rapid and Classical Chess, he's having very good results everywhere. And
Yes.
he was very talented player some years ago, and then it seemingly looked like that he just stopped playing at all. Maybe there was some school or studies or
Yes.
you don't know. I don't really know what was the factor, but now he has returned, and he has returned very powerfully and with very good.
Yes, and he's quite ambitious. So I suppose in this tournament he's going for the highest results. He need one more norm. GM
So
norm. So
last norm. So this is
so
obvious.
it's a good point to play well here.
Yeah.
Okay, let's look at
And the
what
position
he
is
was-
very interesting, and
So how they get this position?
as we can see just so from the pawn structure for black in the center, that there had to be a lot of pawn captures, otherwise it's hard to achieve something like this. It developed from a solid start, very solid start actually of the game, and yeah, white chose to take on f6.
Very early stage.
Very interesting decision, just trying to get the game. It's very interesting for me. First he took on d5, trying to
Yeah.
make it simple, and then he went to take on f6 to try to make it more complicated. So, and some strategical, very maneuvering position started. But I prefer black already. With such a strong pawn center, there are no.
Yeah, there is no weaknesses, so it looks like okay. There is some weaknesses. King is little weak. King is in centrum. That is only weakness.
Yeah, there are two bishops, and they have some potential
Oh.
here.
Just one moment. If there was no strange moves like knight a5 in this
Knight,
position,
knight. Sorry, where?
e5.
Knight e5.
Just to check.
Okay, let's see.
Check with queen.
And oh wow, I'm very surprised by this. Okay, let's say rook g6.
Let's take next one. Pawn, queen.
Knight.
No. Maybe. So it's no. It's need to think a little bit. First sacrifice and then think.
Could be an
It's-
idea, and
it's-
still knight d5 is the idea to get f5 rolling.
Yes, that is one of the ideas, and maybe even taking on h7.
Ah, right, there is another pawn.
There is queen of
Yeah, there is definitely what to think
Queen
about
f-
here. Queen f6 is now
Ah,
getting
yes,
out.
okay, and queen g7 is good.
Yeah, with
Getting
some
back.
contra
So
game even.
just okay, but instead of that, if playing, for example, knight d5,
I assume black is forced to accept it. Otherwise, the
yes,
structure might be just too
f5,
dangerous.
but there is queen g5
Ah, yes. Counter
and bad
threatening.
news for white. Okay, let's look game.
At the game it was played knight h4, f5, as now there is no knight
Yeah.
reaching e5 anymore. Queen check, and king went for a walk. King
That
h1.
was good idea. Take that pawn on h7. Was looking like
But on the other hand, he has to do something, and he has absolutely no potential for this knight unless he takes
So
this
we
pawn.
should count knight sacrifice on f5 or d5.
I'm sure that he actually spent time on that, considering that he has 24 minutes only left on the clock.
So
Uh,
if taking by force, okay, knight f5, take
take a knight
knight
d5.
d5. So
Question
let's
is
watch.
if there is any follow-up. Now we can probably take maybe on h7. Another pawn after all.
Yes, maybe.
Although there is rook g7. And I don't think I'm mating on the king on the
Okay,
d5.
probably they calculate everything. Calculated everything what's going on here. Yeah.
Don't see any mate here. Maybe but there is still something to have fun with, but it doesn't seem
Yes, but
serious.
it's not serious. Okay, what they have in game. So
In the game, he took a pawn. Probably he's hoping to get his knight to e5 somewhere through g6.
or play okay, queen h6 is not working. You know why idea king h1 he played? Probably king h1 idea was to put queen on h6 with idea knight f5.
Yes.
So
that
maybe
could be.
that's taking king in safe place first.
Okay, now bishop c6. I guess that's a very prophylactic approach.
Yes, it's good because you need to close this line for rook. If
Yeah.
it's they're necessary to run with king
In
away.
case to run away. Because for me it felt like I would want to play somewhere queen f6 to not allow all those queen h6 ideas exactly and to just stabilize there.
This looks good one.
I don't see for now any idea for white which I should be prophylactic about. Maybe
Maybe.
g4, but it's shouldn't be that dangerous. f5.
Why not f5? This looks very logical.
And I just keep taking them.
If you're eating so much, that can be dangerous for you. Oh,
Well, probably there could be
It's
some tactics developing
too
already.
complicated
Yes,
for me.
there. In the game, bishop c6 was played, and after that we see g4 on the board.
Okay.
So the point is that after rook takes g4, he is probably ready to play queen e5, and after some playing king d7, he can take on f5.
Yes, it's
With-
nice trick, but the point is that black should not take on f5. Knight take, so there is no real threats for next move.
That's true. There's no reason
So
to take there.
maybe there can improve with some.
It's not that easy to improve as well.
Or maybe you just take a rook away or queen, put
Queen
somewhere.
e8, maybe, to jump somewhere for attack.
So,
Now I already am threatening to take, I assume.
yes, maybe something like this.
Yeah, knight, the only move for knight is knight g3, which...
No, but here is quite maybe one funny move.
some more tactics.
The knight, I'm looking about knight r4, if that is working or not.
Knight a4.
Putting one
Oh,
more
wow.
piece in game.
That is absolutely crazy.
You cannot take on r4.
I cannot take because of very nice
Mate.
So I would have to somehow try to cover up this square, which is
Impossible.
impossible.
Almost. Okay, queen d8 back, but it don't look like.
Yeah, so this is an interesting
Okay,
moment. Just there's not so easy to make moves.
so that's mean with maybe here is some play for, and second idea is also maybe in some point white just want to change rooks on g line and getting one more rook for attack. That's also possible.
Yeah, that's definitely that's why I wanted to carry out the queen e8 plan.
Okay,
to
maybe after g4, rook take, g4 is danger.
Yeah, but with the bishop going to c6, I am not ready to take with the pawn because f5 is much more powerful than before.
Yes.
I don't really like this move bishop c6. It was trying to play too too prophylactic
Just
maybe.
before we liked that. No, not anymore.
No, I didn't like it. I thought it's prophylactic, but I felt like there should be some other move played.
So far this Gurevich is playing not
Very
too bad.
interesting, yeah. Rook g4 was
some-
played by Larushas, so there is this position on the board.
Okay. Suppose we will see Queen e5 in short time.
Yeah, Queen e5, King d7, I think Knight f5 we'll see, and here this is gonna be the moment where Black is gonna be thinking. Maybe Queen b8.
I was just thinking about the same move. But the problem is that Queen is going away, and after Queen f6.
Queen f6, oh
Um,
maybe now Queen e8. There is no mate anymore. And I'm ready to take.
Yes, maybe.
That's
Maybe
a
that
little
can be
trick,
idea.
but still, even if knight g3, white is pawn up after all, and bishop on c6 is... At the
Ah.
moment it's a big pawn. It literally has no moves.
Okay, now let's pawn up and
f5 is coming.
okay, it looks like black should change queens somewhere not to get mated. Because there are too many tactics. What is with king in centrum?
I would like to try to catch the queen, maybe. Can I do that? Couldn't I catch the queen with bishop g7? Straight away, actually. There are no more squares for this queen, so this whole maneuver is...
No.
After queen b8, it's possible that black is...
Queen b8. But the point is simple play back. So
And I'm still playing bishop d6 now. Now I'm ready to
now,
go
now
queen h8 and...
Queen h5, Queen h5, and he is out of all these moves.
Yeah, but still, if I could only get my one more heavy piece in the g file, it could get dangerous for you.
Yes, maybe Queen g8, simple, and
Now rook queen g7 is the threat, so f5 might not be possible because of bishop g3. This position is very crazy.
but if I'm not so sure that bishop g3 is so good. Okay, f5,
f5, bishop g3, yeah.
taking on e6, let's check.
Just going away
Okay,
from there.
it's possible
Oh,
even
knight
change
d5,
queens
yeah.
and other moves. So
Okay, so no, I will go here.
Okay, just taking on g3, getting some... Oh, no, come on.
Wait, there is rook
Rook
f7. Yes, I forgot about such possibility. Okay, this
Yes,
is...
and then...
And this is probably not that
no, okay, it's...
too much.
yes, not the best one.
But
piece
actually it's a
game.
little bit irrelevant, because they played something else.
What they play?
They played knight takes f5 straight away.
We didn't...
The same idea, which we
the
didn't...
same.
It takes away possibility of king d7 probably, because of...
No, but it's...
But now there is a possibility of king c7, which was played. So king actually does run away.
now king can escape. That is good news for black. So
Yes, it's
can
just
start play.
going safely to a7 and that's it.
So maybe because of that was better play queen e5, don't give so easy to escape this
Yeah,
king.
this easy way out, but maybe there are still some questions to answer.
Ah, to getting that pawn.
Yeah, so now I'm attacking. Bishop d6.
Oh,
No, that he can even exchange on rook g1 and white is just better.
Yes, yes. I think our Lithuanian friend is a little bit in trouble.
Yeah, there is this. Is he planning to go king d7 back?
But then you get
The
we
same.
get the position, but with just with extra tempo. So
But is there a way to use this extra tempo?
I think
As knight
yes.
a4 is not possible, rook g1 we can't play because we lose a piece, and if we go knight g3, then there is queen h4 coming with one move.
should be possibilities to improve that.
But what could be this way? Some idea. Because I don't actually see any rook c2, but then we don't want to double anymore on g-file.
Funny.
And actually, also, yeah, there are all those bishop g7 ideas also will be in there sometime. So it's finally might be in black's favor to give up this one move.
What will be if white will change rooks?
I
Will
would
play, for example, rook g1.
rook
trying
g1 I was
to-
thinking to take,
Yes, rook take g1.
and now I'm taking. I don't have to worry about queen f5 anymore.
Okay.
Knight takes
Knight
d5.
d5. Yes.
And after knight d5, I would like to start running away. Just not sure how can I carry that out. Okay, you don't threaten anything, or do you?
Okay, king c8 probably.
King c8, yes. Taking on f5 seems necessary at some point, I assume. Or rook g8 is also an
maybe
option.
it's not enough compensation for all this.
Now rook g8 we can play out bishop takes
Yes.
d5. And that might not be enough as we
Okay,
have
maybe.
king c7 and f8 is not hanging anymore.
Yes. Okay. Maybe that's not.
So we
not the
could
point.
take here, king
But then
b8.
it's king running on a7, so that's this square where he is safe.
Yeah, rook g8, now we have king a7, so this doesn't really work out too much.
So maybe rook g1 is not the best idea.
But is this position problematic for white?
So the main point that this is not no problem position for black.
Yeah,
If
because
there was
I would like
pawn down, just
I would
and
like to
now-
take on e4 and have 4 pawns and three of them there running there in the center. And black still would have to make a lot of moves to get out.
But here is quite simple, I think. For example, black is playing bishop d6, taking out bishop,
d5, yes.
bishop d7, and those bishops are. I don't think you can use this.
They are in total control, yes. Even queen b6, for example.
Those pawns will not run too far.
Yeah, and as soon as they start running, bishops will open up more and more and more
Yes.
powerfully. That's true.
It's still complicated, yes. Okay. So what
So we don't see a...
in game was king c7, yeah?
Yes, queen
Yeah.
c7, and white is thinking, so... It's very funny concept that maybe it was more precise for white to start with queen f5 and to have this move for black right now.
Okay, queen e5. Okay,
h3
queen
was
e5
played
checks it.
actually.
h3?
h3 right now.
He's so tricky. Okay, you see, the point is that rook don't have squares where to go.
g6?
There is on g6, there is check
Ah,
on
wow.
h7. It's
Oh wow, this is amazing.
just taking, just taking rook.
Oh wow, this is very tricky. And this is over for black?
It's not over, but exchange down. It's almost. I don't see. Maybe. Is
Well,
there any tricks?
With such a bad bishop, exchange down might be over, I assume.
Yes, with this bad bishop on c6, we don't have any squares.
Yeah, that's
H3.
very simple and very effective.
And the point also, if black, for example, taking on f5, white is taking on g4, and even taking just on g4, there is good square for white king on g2.
Yeah, perfectly safe out.
Safe square, yes.
And rook is coming in, and probably that's it for black. This
Yeah.
d5 pawn will eventually just fall, and yeah, just everything is wrong with. And that's actually what's on the boards. He didn't see anything better.
Ah, yes,
g4.
okay,
So
they played
this
that.
is over. A very nice game by Vitali. Just yeah, very interesting.
Yeah.
And I assume that it all started with this two prophylactic move bishop to c6. The main problems for
Yes, but okay.
okay, so some other games.
Laura's game was just.
Okay, Laura's game. Let's see.
It was already because it's in time trouble. It's moving much faster.
Yeah, because Laura is in time trouble, and her opponent is probably trying to play a little on time.
Okay, what was last moves? What we was not.
We left it after this sacrifice, which happened already a long time ago. Queen f5, rook g1 was played, and she went for
Yeah.
knight e5. Aha.
95. Okay.
And he instantly gave up an exchange back.
Oh.
So they actually did manage to simplify a little. And Laura is probably thinking if to repeat position now.
But surprising way, black is.
Like, yeah, we
Black is
didn't,
okay.
we did not see this move knight e5,
95.
which
Can we
is
play a little back?
Uh,
95.
there is a very big threat on f3, which we can't
we need
really, we can't really do anything about. So rook g1 was not possible, and if not for rook g1, then maybe this was not too good.
Yeah. So Laura was counting better than we.
Yeah.
Okay, and now its position.
Now
she's
the
just
position.
thinking, yeah.
She's thinking if to give perpetual or actually to play on for a win.
Okay, by this time control, I would recommend just repeat moves because
Yeah, it's definitely risky,
young
but
Lithuanian player, he many times after openings he was having bad positions and then in time troubles and somewhere getting some.
yeah, but let's look at it. For example, rook b6. What to do? Okay, now we can take on d5. I'm
Now
sorry.
can take on d5. Yes.
So in this position, we go rook b6.
That looks very strong. But queen g4, try to change.
Queen g4. I wanna go queen d3. Ah, yeah, yeah.
There
Let's
is-
not do that.
Don't do that.
Ah, so that is.
The point is if there is changing queens, so this pawn, there is no way for black to play for win here, this position.
Yeah.
Can make draw but not win.
Yeah, exactly. Well, it's probably not too far. It's impossible to win. I think it's after g5. It's totally safe for black.
Okay.
But
Okay, what's in game is still the same position?
in the game, she's still thinking. Or they repeated one more time. So I assume, yeah, that probably it will just
Yes.
finish in a draw in this
I
moment
think
already.
it's a good idea to finish this game in draw because if she would have half hour more than Anwar. And also she played with higher rated opponent, so
So yeah,
who
so
is also was having good result in Baltic zonal tournaments.
Yeah, actually. So
You made Norm.
also in one of the tournaments he made Norm, and he's also increasing his rating very much, and
Yes.
he's quite young, still under 18 definitely, not certain
So
about
he's
exact age.
one of stars of young generation of Lithuania probably now.
Yeah, definitely he's the biggest maybe even.
Yes.
Okay, and there
youngest one.
I see that some games have finished already. For example, national team player Bernotas, he has won his game already.
Oh, okay.
Uh, there is Latvian player Kretainis Kristaps. He made a draw with Starvo Seman, well-known,
Estonian
well-known,
international master.
and yeah, player from Estonia for us, very even. And yeah, and there's still some lot of more draws. But we haven't looked what's happening on the top boards
Yes,
very long
that's
time.
most interesting.
So what is Igor doing? He is pawn down,
Okay.
but with a very strong knight on d5.
Oh, he have serious compensation for that pawn.
He is probably counting that he will take a2 pawn and then gonna play with a good knight against the bad bishop.
But did you? I have some feeling that he is little bit underestimated at this moment. His opponent threats.
His opponent, what are his threats?
For example, if you play just a3, you protect pawn,
Oh, there is a3.
Yes.
I did not.
and then you just take your rooks in game over 8 or rook b8 maybe, and this king on f6. How to improve for black to do, what to do for black, how to improve. I cannot see. B line is for white.
To try to somehow play for the bishop being misplaced on c5.
But bishop is perfect on c5.
Yeah, but it's also can be like the idea is maybe to put king f5, f6, and prepare some motives of e5.
Yes, but even if you made e5, so there is just changing the pawn and not more.
Yeah, that's why I meant I would want to make some pressure maybe on the bishop still before doing that in the perfect scenario, but it's all taking a lot of time.
Can we look a little bit how they get this position? So just
How they'll
quick moves.
Yes, so we saw that
So this position was starting, yes?
yeah.
Okay.
So white retreated with the bishop, maneuvered his bishop to
Yes.
c5, very good,
Getting better
very
bishop,
logical, yeah.
Okay.
Protecting it there, and instead of just standing and maybe not doing anything, Igor went for a very active plan, and yeah, he just lost a pawn there. As now those bishops are doing very good there.
And in this point, so you see, in this point, Igor made very. If he would take on b4, he would make easy draw.
Yes, of course, that's very true.
Knight b4, rook b4, and attack a pawn, a2 pawn. So, for example, and then d4 pawn, and that is maybe it was other rook or just this, yeah. And you cannot move anything.
Yeah, and this is
so it's
but
easy draw.
as we know,
But
Igor plays for a win every
yes,
single
yes,
position.
Yes, and maybe this time is little too dangerous. I don't feel so safe about
But I believe that
his position.
he just doesn't think that he could lose it. And he played actually knight e7. So he's going for giving it...
For d pawn.
He's actually... a3 was played, yes, as you suggested. And after a3 the problem is that knight e7. And if we exchange, then for sure one of the pawns is falling instantly.
Now, okay, he is planning to get his knight on f5, yes? If I understand.
Yes, that's correct. Actually, that happened. White played rook d2 and knight f5. I have a feeling that he had to use the moment to take on e7, because this can get dangerous.
Okay, maybe, no, it's not so bad, but...
Hard to make moves for white. Yeah, maybe rook b3 is standing.
Okay, white don't have any danger. They can just even giving this d pawn, so it's always draw.
Well, it's always draw in the
But,
computer play, but practically when humans start to play...
instead of rook b3, maybe there is, if white want to play for win, is there move g4?
Oh, wow. Okay, I will
Probably you can take just on d4, yeah?
But can I take this one? What's the tactic?
The tactic was just this knight is out of play somewhere.
But white doesn't have a serious
Okay,
plan.
king
Yeah.
g3,
Yeah, king g3, g5.
g5. Okay, rook b8.
Rook b8.
I'm trying to play. Oh, okay. Maybe first check on
Yeah, first check.
check,
Now I don't know where do I go. Okay, let's say on
and
g7.
now rook going. Ah, okay. You have
Oh,
knight
b8.
g6.
Yeah, knight g6 was my point, and no, I think this is something
Okay.
Igor is hoping for.
Hoping, yes,
Exactly.
okay. That's too dangerous. Okay.
The game is starting. Yeah.
So
So here it's maybe not that totally over. There is also just yeah, simply he's playing for the fact that it's harder to make moves for the white side. Maybe he has to play something bishop b4
but why? What is the point of this now?
just to force some exchanges.
So which rook on b2? Maybe it can improve that one.
But to where? Because now I realize that after moves like rook b3, maybe I can even play moves like rook to c4. And just somehow trying to get in there more.
You know, I was thinking that maybe after knight e7 instead of what was played in game, yeah? Knight e7 was?
Yes.
Now rook d2 was too passive.
Yes, I also feel like that.
Probably here need to play some more active moves. I don't know which one. Maybe when no g4. Always want to play g4. But,
Yeah, but
something here can be. So maybe we underestimated this position. Maybe it's not so bad.
Oh,
No danger at all.
yeah, maybe. I think that a3 was not the move that you needed to play, because
Yes,
without
but
a3 played, there it was much more easy to stand. Okay,
Okay.
it was played here. No, not like this. Rook a2 was played. Another passive move.
Yes, but he's preparing. If you take on d4, I take d4.
Yes.
Bishop take d4. Rook
And
take
he's
d4.
ready
rook
to
take
exchange
d4, and a4, and ready for draw.
and ready for draw. Yes.
So
So,
he's prepared for. Maybe it's right decision.
but there was rook d5 played already. Igor is gonna play this very fast, and
He will wait now for couple moves. He will wait there and wait and.
I think he'll play g5 somewhere eventually to get the king more active and to threaten e5 later on.
Okay, maybe e5. It's good idea and play immediately somewhere. Go back with king because of
To
checks.
to g7.
Maybe at some point to g7 because without checks to play e5.
Yeah, that's why I wanted to play g5 to play e5 without checks.
Yes, but then you have also some weak pawn on h5. Maybe it's in future. It can be some point for attack.
Oh, yeah, probably they will little circle around for
I
a
see.
while.
Yes,
Yeah.
I think we can
Go
check
somewhere
the
else.
next
On
game.
board 2 there was draw already made.
What was final position for draw? So can offer draw here before move 40 or
Yeah,
is no rules?
there are no restrictions whatsoever,
Okay.
so it's possible to offer draw always.
So there was just
Just a
draw
complicated
offer.
position, and they just decided that they don't want to play on. It's white played queen a4, so it was white who offered the draw. The higher rated player, maybe in a little.
Yeah, he's little worst.
Exactly, he's a little worse.
He decided that today is one more game, so it's better to have draw. And also he played with international master, I think. Yeah?
Yes. So, On board 3, our favorite game, it escalated very much. Uh, White is playing on an increment already, 35 seconds we see on the clock. And
So what was last moves?
everything is hanging. We saw f5. So b4 got played,
Yes.
ab, knight b4, even
So
we got
like
something right.
Yes, you're right.
Knight
Okay.
f4, and yeah, there was now this idea Swiss queen c5, but c4 straight away. So d4 is probably quite forced to stop queen b6 check, and knight d3 now.
I would sacrifice exchange, but okay. But d4 is logical, yeah. So and
f6, ef, knight takes. This is too complicated, I think, for us to try to understand if it's correct
okay,
or not.
we don't need also understand all ideas what's going on.
Queen b6, pinning the pawn on d4. So
Nice,
f4.
protecting rook a4. Rook was not playing, and now
And
not bad.
I guess
That looks strange.
he ran out of ideas a little. I assume that he was on time trouble already then,
yeah.
and he just needed to make a move.
That was not the best one.
And here he
Missed.
blundered
He
knight
missed
e5,
blunder,
obviously,
yes,
yeah.
knight e5.
So he was
Now-
forced to sacrifice
So now
something.
it's game over almost.
Yeah, and black is simply counting the most efficient way to take this material.
Yes.
Just to take on c6 and on d4 later, or to take on d3 and then on b2 is falling. Just a matter of time and technique here.
So in opening was so interesting, but in final was very quick.
What's interesting is board 4, that white has managed to stay pawn up in some
Okay,
way.
let's look from which moment.
We left it somewhere here, king f4, g3, king g4, so he went there inside with the king, and some race started. Bishop d3, king c6, h4, takes, king going for those pawns. And now, long way around.
Oh,
Okay, and black is absolutely fine with the draw. After a4, I assume that this could even just be like this played, and that's it.
are you sure? Maybe king can get there. Ah,
To the corner.
but first king need to
Take the pawn.
take the pawn.
That's a slight issue here.
Yes. They
So,
already have few moves, yeah.
yes, they have some few more moves. King f2 was played, king h3. So white is trying something. And actually, can he find some, or there is always going to be an option to give up a bishop, so it's unlikely
Yes. The only way how to try to, if you need help of bishop, but if bishop is moving, then black is taking pawn on h3. So there is no way.
Yeah, so this is probably just a draw, and this is
Yes.
just a matter of
Okay,
time. He
let's
is gonna
look some
go around a little bit, but it's gonna
Other
finish in a draw.
positions.
So, what other positions? So, okay, we haven't looked at this one for very long time. Board 5. What? This was the position with the extra pawn for black, and this is. That's
Yes.
why we didn't look at it, because it was very one-sided, and this is also gonna be over very, very soon, I assume. So, board 6. Was the game with two bishops for black, and as we see, when we left, we were thinking about white accepting the pawn sacrifice on b7.
Okay. What?
As we see, that did not happen. We left it around here after bishop e6.
Don't take this pawn.
So there was simple exchange, and trying to exchange more. b5, but obviously black is not allowing that, to trying to keep more pieces on the board.
Yes.
more
If you
activity.
have bishop and knight against two knights, it's more chances for playing for win also.
Yeah, so there's still move. Bishop d6 played right now. So what is happening here is...
Both players have about 10 minutes and it's just starting.
And
So
that
like
there is this interesting possibilities now, but now it's just... Probably that's not a favorable exchange for white.
yes, knight and rook against for
A
queen.
very
so
interesting move, bishop d6. I wouldn't be surprised if white player missed this motive.
I
because-
think so many moves will count. That's not so difficult. But taking on c4, that is already little worse. Endgame is
This
getting.
is very complicated, yes, as it's some
You
trouble
need to
defending
play
this
rook
too.
b1 back and wait, that don't looks good. Anyway,
That looks
looks dangerous.
very dangerous. Sorry, there's check. I'm forced to go to the corner. There can still come rook to d2,
yes,
and
yes, it's good chances for
so
black,
yeah,
so
bishop d6. This is a very strong motive, and well, there's no
good
choice
chances
really.
for Rasmus Swane.
Yeah, to go
to-
out
to get
2 out of
point.
2. Yeah,
Okay, what's next?
game by on board 7. I assume this was. Oh, we left it somewhere just after the opening.
Yes. It was point that their bishop d7, maybe it's not the safest place for.
Yeah, a3 was
Possible.
played exactly.
Okay.
A3, h3, just prophylactically improving still. Black going back, and a6 as well. Bishop d3, queen b6, knight to e4. Okay, some exchanges, and so
Trying
white,
to make something in king side.
yeah, to create some weaknesses to provoke something. I believe black should be fine here.
Yes, there
Already.
are two bishops protecting king, and finally this bishop from d7 get to right square, whereas this is okay.
Yeah, it's with the rook out on d8, of course. Bishop on e8 is just perfectly
Yeah,
defending
okay,
everything.
So
Black is forcing some things. Some
good idea to
exchanges.
change. If you change both rooks, there is no much left.
Yeah, and white
And
is...
if you change both rooks, there is even maybe black can get better position because they can get a pawn.
Yeah.
A3 pawn is weak. When
For example, in this position it's not even possible because if you take rook d8 there is double threat.
yes,
So it's not... And something will fall. So rook f1 had to be played. And maybe it's black who is enjoying some activity now already. Knight d2. Very tactical approach. Aha! It's hanging on f1.
Yes,
So
That's
it's
right.
knight d2 is forced, I assume. And probably the point is now to interject bishop takes g5.
but that's good to get two bishops now.
So queen takes g5 or with the pawn, which is better, I'm not sure. But this position should be little favorable for black as white's bishop is out of the game. And we have some problems all the time to worry about rook b2 and protecting it.
But you don't want to change queens?
Bishop g5. From the black side?
No, yes.
This is actually was played already,
Yes?
yeah. So.
Okay, if queen, just change queens and now take. Because now maybe you will get this,
This a pawn.
yes. This looks like, or there is rook c1 still some.
There is rook c1, but it might be met by simple rook b2. Ah no, this
Okay,
gives free
No,
hands
no,
for
no.
white.
Instead of rook b2, first put bishop on b5. So now, no threats with rook c8 maybe or something like this.
I assume bishop e4 will have to be played somewhere, and this doesn't look like we can win the pawn
Okay.
anymore.
Maybe changing queens, it's this pawn on g5 is
Can be
helping.
some problematic endgames later on with the
Okay.
king marching in. But I think that it will be also possible for black to exchange it later because
So it's but now I would not change queens with white. I would keep queens in play.
like some more like
Yes,
queen e7,
something
yeah.
like this. Because if there is queens in play, there is little more chances for.
I would like to try to catch this bishop, but for now I don't see how exactly, as there's still this e4
Okay,
square,
bishop
but
c6.
yeah, bishop c6.
Yeah, you're threatening queen e4.
Yeah, a lot of threats there, and that's why maybe it's risky to keep queens on the board.
Maybe.
Surprisingly, a lot
Okay,
of
maybe
ideas
queen
in this.
e7. Maybe in this position, instead of queen e7, maybe just get bishop in game. Bishop e4.
Yeah, this is more natural. Now we also
Because
have
there are some tricks, for example, if queen g5, take on g5, and if there is rook a2 attacking, then you maybe can sacrifice rook c1 with the idea if you take on a3, rook c8, and there is trouble already for
Wait, I'm sorry. Yeah, rook c8 and
trouble for black. Trouble for black.
yeah, and something will be lost.
Yes. So maybe it's better keeping this bishop in game. Okay, bishop e4. So what is played? There's already one move.
Oh, there was moved. No, there is still bishop g5 and it's thinking.
Ah, okay.
So
Okay,
let's leave them to this.
Look something else.
Let's look at a game where both sides were waiting with the knight c3.
They are still waiting.
We saw it by h3 and rook b8.
Okay.
So knight d4 was played, so he's ready
So
to play knight c3.
decided this knight to put. Don't want to play knight c3.
A b5, yeah, it's exchange, and b3. Still no knight b3, knight c3. But he's just wants to get dominant pawn structure in the center. Knight f6 c4. Some developing normal moves. Black taking away the squares for white knights. Bishop e3, bishop b7, queen d2. So I assume this is all very logical and just natural. Knight to c5, a lot of regrouping. Rook b1. So
there are both players who like to make
a little
waiting moves and waiting for maneuvers with
waiting for
pieces.
opponent to make decision.
Yes, yes, yes. They both like that.
So it's just a lot of back and forth.
Nowadays it's quite popular to making one, just checking if opponent what he want to play after this. If not, just back and next try.
But it's visible that black is playing for a win, as white was more doing those moves standing on the place and
Yes, but that also make danger for black if they are trying too hard to make for win.
yeah, especially with the time running out for both players so fastly that it's
Because white is solid. It's so far it's okay. Black should open in some point, maybe with d5 or position, something like this.
yeah, with the pawn on f3 already, this diagonal close. d5 should be coming sometime soon, and question is if they are ready for that, and if it won't come some counter before c5 for that. A lot of tactics for them to count.
Okay.
But I think that we could, yes, after this game, now we could take a short break and then we could return for time trouble and to see the final action of the round. So stay tuned, we'll be back shortly. Hi, welcome back. We have been joined in the studio by a guest, Artūrs Bernotis, who is actually, Latvian national team member for the upcoming Olympiad in Batumi. So, also my teammate for there. And happy to see him that he won his game today quite easily, quite fastly. Actually, so how do you feel about this tournament so far? You are on 2 out of 2, is that correct?
Yes.
And is this tournament more for you, like for getting some great result, or if it's actually some part of preparation for Olympiad?
I think it's more part preparation for an Olympiad because I want to try some openings and just prepare. And if result will be good, that will be very nice.
So it's a little hint for your opponents in this tournament that they can expect some unusual openings from you, yes?
Yeah.
Okay, so and how are you actually feeling? Because I think it's interesting topic that you're gonna go for Olympiad in the first time. What are your feelings right now about it?
Mm, I feel a little bit stressed because it's my first Olympiad, first time, and I know that must, I have to work a lot to show a good result because it, everybody will watch all that and I want to show a good result.
Well, I'm sure that if you are working and you want to show good result, then the result will come itself. So
I hope so.
Okay, what happened for you today in the game? It was rather short, but we didn't have time to really look at it as we have a lot of games going on.
Okay, I can show. It was a French opening. I didn't prepare this c5 move because he actually every time he played knight f6 all games.
So you were surprising him and he was surprising you, yes.
Yeah. So here I decided to play knight g3 and he played some moves like a6. I actually didn't knew this move.
Yeah, it's a typical move to avoid bishop b5 check simply.
Yeah.
Waiting move, okay. What
Yes.
happened?
I decided to take. And here I didn't want to play bishop d3 because of c4 move somewhere, maybe not actually not now, somewhere. But I don't think that I played the the best move here.
But it's all leading to this isolated pawn position, so
Yeah,
they
yeah.
are all very similar in their
Yeah.
character. Maybe not always that important where exactly your pieces
Yeah.
are.
Yeah, here I didn't want any tempo on the black square bishop, white black's bishop. So, but I didn't have, I think here some good move.
No more waiting moves.
Yeah. So I took, he took, and b3, as usual. Bishop g5. Yeah, here, in the moment. I think bishop g5 is a little bit dangerous move, because what happening after,
Some very
very active play he has, and all pieces here are working, blacks.
yeah. It looks like very perfect isolated pawn position for black right
Yeah.
now. It's
Yeah, so maybe bishop g5 wasn't a good move.
but at the end I saw in the final position you won exactly because he had weakened so
Yeah.
much.
So that was my plan, but okay, and he played very slowly. So I tried to calculate all variations on his time and play more faster. So here bishop d3. He took. Yes, here after bishop d3.
So you want to just take a pawn already.
Yeah, I want to take a pawn, and he have to decide what move to make here, because here are too many options for him, and he was in a at that moment he was uh, on a little time trouble.
Already.
Yeah, and here he has too many options and he thought a lot. H5, Queen A4.
Looks all very normal so far.
Yeah. Here was Queen A4. Idea was that he hasn't got. Can I do this?
Yeah.
He hasn't got G4 move because of Queen on A4.
Yeah.
So he can't play on this pawn and
And probably hoping a little bit that he will blunder bishop on G4, yes?
yeah. Yeah, exactly at this variation. This. I didn't saw knight B5.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, but if I didn't had this move, I would be without a pawn. Yes, but he played bishop D7. I took, and here I think I have already good position at this moment.
Yeah, bishop up or
Maybe here better to take with a pawn.
to be more solid, yeah.
Yeah. Here my plan was just play rook e2, then rook e1, and look what he will do.
Hope for some weaknesses on the queen side, yes.
Yeah. But now he has this weakness on d5, isolated pawn. Yeah. Bishop e7, rook e2, 5. Yeah, here first I wanted to play knight d4, but then I realized that d4 isn't
Not a threat anymore.
yeah, not a threat because I'll play c4 like in the game, and he has a bad bishop, and I have very solid now position, and now king is now you can feel that black's king is very weak.
So yeah, instead of having very strong bishop on a7, he's having
Yeah.
a bad bishop, so...
Yeah. And here, yeah, he had a minute against my 45 minutes. So it was easy. The idea was to take knight on g4,
And
rook
to
on
mate him.
a7, yeah, and mate him. Maybe here queen g6, I don't know. Trying to,
Playing without a pawn, yes?
yeah, somewhere d3 if I take, maybe I can.
95, yes. Okay, he can try to escape like this.
Yeah.
But couldn't he try rook e6? Couldn't you try rook e6? I'm
Ah,
sorry.
yeah. Yeah, actually, yes. Yeah, I think
That
this
doesn't look too good for black.
yeah, but queen on g7 is isn't good. So here I think if he, like in the game, he don't do anything, so I just made him.
That was very simple.
Yes, and knight f6 he resigned.
And it's already mate on h7,
Yeah.
yes?
Yeah, take on g6 and rook h7 mate. Let's show.
Yeah, that is very nice, and well, it's very surprising, at least for me a little bit. For those who don't know you, maybe it's not that you were the one who was having 45 minutes
Yeah.
against 1 minute, not the other way around.
Yeah. Yeah,
Dear.
in this tournament I also try to play more faster because everybody knows that I have this time trouble problems. So in the first game I tried to play fast, and I did it, and I won on time. Actually, in drawish position. So
It's working out for you.
yeah, 2 out
That's
of
good.
2.
And so what are your goals for this tournament? Like, can I ask you this question, or you don't want to spoil anything by saying it loud?
Mm. Okay, let's see what let's see what happens.
And for example, for a lot of players, it is harder to play at home. Do you like that the tournament is happening in Riga and that you can go home every day, or do you would prefer to actually play somewhere abroad?
I think I more like play at home because I feel more comfortable, and also I just I just try to play chess, and I don't thinking about other things like if I'm in other country, other city. Like I feel really comfortable at home.
So you're happy that we have such a nice tournament happening
Yeah,
here
of
in
course,
Riga,
it's
yeah?
a very good tournament, one of the strongest in Europe. I think, and I'm really happy that it's tradition in Latvia that this tournament uh, going every year.
Okay, so congratulations with your game and best of luck in the rest of the tournament.
Thank you.
And thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
Latvia and our capital Riga is a very dynamic and a little magical place. The same as our best chess players, Mikhail Tal, who used to be the world champion, and Alexei Shirov. If we go in for something, we do it with all our heart, soul and brain. They say that we are like the coconuts, a little hard from the outside, but very soft and sweet from inside. We love parties, we love our nature, we enjoy our history and we appreciate that, and we love chess players. And now we would be more than happy to welcome you at the European Women Chess Championship in 2017 and the European Youth Chess Championship in 2018 here in Riga. By the way, we are going to celebrate our 100 years anniversary for our country. Come and enjoy. Gensunesumus.
Hi, welcome back. I'm once again here with Normunds. We were joined here in studio by the national team member for the upcoming Olympiad, Artūrs Bernotes. He said a little bit about his thoughts about this tournament, about Olympiad, and about his game, which he won, and he's on 2 out of 2. So fighting for some good result, maybe for some norms.
Probably next game he will get some serious opponent.
Yeah, so we'll see how he does. Meanwhile, most, if not all of the games, they're all in time trouble because, well, it's just inevitable because there is as much time as there is, and it's just time for games to finish already soon. On board 1, Igor Kovalenko, the top seed of the tournament, is trying to squeeze something out.
Yes.
He's no longer pawn down. He's in at least materially equal rook endgame, but it feels like he has achieved something.
Yes, yes. Compared with what we saw before, we have some practical chances. Normally it should be around draw position, but
what's interesting is that in this kind of positions, once he reaches them, he has a lot of time to think, and his opponent is just playing on increment. Although right now, he would like perfectly to reach some rook endgame where he has rook on a2 with one pair of rooks exchanged, and maybe force white to exchange here so that he could like put his king on g4, or maybe even king e4, king f3.
But is now, if for example black is playing rook a2?
Rook a2, yes.
Yes. And is there no problem with f4?
That might be very much the case. Why I said that ideally he would like to reach it, but I'm not sure if he can. Because yes,
For
rook
example,
d6
king d6 or
is a problem because we lose on g6 a pawn.
yes.
So we have to try king d5, not king d6.
But is not there is the same problem? Because
Is there? Or which is
because
the
rook d7 check, rook b d7,
rook d6?
rook d6, and if just take on d6 and play rook
g7.
which is 7.
Well, this might still be dangerous, couldn't it be?
Rook take g6.
And just still forward.
So, but the problem can be just play rook b6.
Rook b6. Okay, now maybe I have to take the pawn already.
If you put rook on b3, there is quite difficult to improve this position.
Okay, let me get it back a little bit. What if I play e3 here? No, I want...
That is much stronger. Now there is plan for getting king on f3, and if yes,
that could be winning.
That could be winning, yeah.
But it didn't happen.
Okay.
He went for rook d6.
That was in game happening already.
Rook d6, yes, in the game. And there was rook b5, king went forward. Exchanges and king e2, rook c6, and this is the position on the board in the game. But this is definitely much better version for white than what we were looking at.
Yes.
And it should be possible somehow to escape, but have to still be precise.
Okay. Logical, it's giving rook b4 check, because don't want that this king is so good placed.
After king e5, I assume we are giving more
check
checks.
back, yes.
And yeah, it's not easy to choose where to put this king. And I assume that now this is... No, this is not that safe still.
Now this is already... this position is...
Maybe just
no.
a5.
In this position I think there is even a rook b3 idea.
And now
with
to...
moving pawn. Just
Aha,
moving.
and just moving pawn and rook is coming behind it. Yeah.
And it don't looks like there is too many possibilities playing for win.
Yeah, yes, of course, I agree. So this is not a plan for
So
Igor.
in game already,
So maybe after rook b4, his point would be to play king
in game
c3.
already is played rook c6.
Yes, rook c6 we saw.
Ah, okay.
Maybe this is his idea.
Yes, but well, what is your
Not
plan
really
after
certain
rook?
what is the plan. Rook,
Yes.
where does rook? Maybe to b1.
Yes, maybe to b1, that's possible.
Yeah, doesn't feel like it's possible to really play for a win,
Yes.
because whenever we exchange, our king is done easily. And they finished in a draw.
Ah, they already finished draw.
So Igor played rook c6 and offered the draw? Can that be? No.
It's not Igor style.
Yeah, but I see that the game is over.
Ah, they made already more moves just... Ah, no, or it's the same position.
Yeah, but we actually forgot to look in the,
Yes.
the camera for a moment, and meanwhile they finished the game. So another draw. A lot of draws actually already in this round
Yes.
from the very top boards.
Second board also played draw.
Board
like,
4 also finished in a draw already, so that's interesting. Board 5, Predka Alexander won, so he's on 2 out of 2. Donchenko Alexander won, so and
these two.
we have some endgame in game by Swane, who I believe he's gonna convert rather easily with an extra pawn and bishop on 2 sides.
Yes, it looks like there is no way to survive for...
No more excitement left as well.
Yes.
Oh, yes, the next board was a game by Esipenko, which we took a look at. It did finish and draw already. Black managed to take a3 pawn and stabilize, but didn't achieve too much progress due to the very fixed pawn structure.
Yes, and it's hard to get this bishop in play also.
Yes, the game finished with the repetition on the simply on checks. The game which we were looking at as the very interesting one is already over by Stochek winning. It just finished this moment. Seems like he found some interesting tactical motives, like judging from the final position, where there are no more pieces for black, but just enough to win.
So is there still some games on? Or
So yes, we can look at some games which are still going on. Narvamai is still playing her endgame against Manuel Petrosyan, and well, yes, I guess he did manage to achieve something in this endgame.
yes.
Not sure what was the character of the game, if it was white playing for a win and it backfired, or he just was pushing, but white is in
Petrosyan
trouble.
made a very big improvement compared with what was before.
And it's very big trouble for white here, and this bishop is very stuck, and I assume that this is just a matter of converting it.
So we have typical position whereas knight is much stronger than bishop.
Yeah,
And we have nice square where protecting also pawn on b6. And
just the
Look.
perfect square, perfect knight.
yes,
While the bishop doesn't have moves and you just have to constantly worry not to lose it somewhere.
just question on time when
As now, even you can't move any rook away from each other, as we will get rook f takes f2 tactic.
yes, that's nice trick.
So it's very hard for white to make any moves, and
You probably need to play something like king f3.
yeah, to untie a little, but it's gonna be a very short help. And I expect
Okay,
black
that-
to convert this one.
Yeah, that's right.
Let's see if there is still some excitement in some of the games. I see some draws, some. The Indian Grandmaster Pragdadanda won his game. So Nikita also won his game, and which we were looking at before there with those ideas of e6. But let's try to find something that is still running. Some have some endgame between Valentin Dragnev and Fabish Sovic Vadim. Is there something still here?
So it looks like
White is thinking if they have to take on e2 or no, probably.
the question is this rook endgame is there something or not?
For white in the rook endgame? I assume there could
Normally
not be much.
should not be much, yes.
And what about those positions where we are gonna stay and exchange down? But actually not so easy to stay, just exchange down. Is there
Okay, but there is still possibility play rook f3, check, and after king e2, rook b3 and getting some rook endgame.
rook b3? Oh yes.
I don't know if that is
If it's that good, yes, but
okay. There is rook g4, of course,
rook
and
yeah, the rook g4 has to fade. Rook
and
takes
rook
b1.
So what is this position?
Should be possible to
Yes,
draw
it
it as
looks
the
like
king
draw,
is close. And they actually have a rook endgame already on the board. He chose to just go for it directly.
Okay.
Yeah, and that's this I expect to be even
Yes,
more easy draw.
Yes,
Very
it's easy
soon it
draw.
should finish. Okay, so what do we have more? Oh, Laurutius is still playing.
Wow, is king still in centrum or no?
And
not
he's
anymore.
actually the one with pawn up. So he managed to turn it around somehow in all this tactical mess. And is he just winning now? It does look like that, or is there some theoretical draw that I am missing right now?
Okay, probably need to play king b4 because after other moves there are just king r2 and it's
Yes,
over.
and that's over. So king b4 is the only move
Only
that
move. Yes.
theoretically try to keep it going, but
It looks like it's winning because now it's like idea rook d3
and the next move we'll just go
Yes.
king c1 or king c2, and that will be it.
so Laurutius managed to win that position.
That's very interesting, and I'm very curious to look afterwards how did he manage to do it. But, so game by Laura against Lithuanian player Pultinevich's
This was draw.
draw. Do you have some game running one board lower? Still with a lot of pieces on board. Some very uneven endgame.
Dudecki, Sorensen.
What is happening here? I assume black is trying to win. Possibly also
but
just
it's
winning.
logically, because there are 2 free pawns. What is
Probably
together
king
with
of,
bishop, and I would say, okay, king f5 or
yeah,
just-
this was played on the board already.
just
And now h pawn will just run as king is active, and
Yeah.
yeah, this is probably also decided just. Could it be that we don't have any excitement left anymore?
there are always some games left. Even if all games are finished, there is one game what is playing like 150 moves.
So, what do we have here? Another blue bomb with white.
Oh. I was thinking there is only one. So
Trying
other
to
one.
create some sort of Zugzwang for his opponent. Can he manage to do that?
Theoretically, pawn on g7 is very weak, and
Actually, can I just go and take it? Like, let's say king c6, and I was just taking it.
problem is that after bishop f8 there is knight g3.
Knight g3, aha, right. So this is the
Yes.
issue, and it's no longer white who is playing for a win.
But I don't think that white is playing any for winning this position.
In that case, white is not playing for a win, of course. I got too excited about bishop f8 ideas. So white should try to play bishop b1 to...
But I think I should just... Okay, if black want to draw, they can do that in very easy way. Just move somewhere b pawn and knight g3.
That's very true. At the board we have this position, so this might be
Yes.
one of the games that will be lasting for quite some time. When black
Yes,
pushing.
black can try to do something maybe. But
Think
from
it-
other side, how you can improve this position? Because moving b4 is almost impossible.
Why is that impossible? Oh,
He's just playing back with bishop on f8, and how you can move that pawn.
let's say I play knight e4.
Okay, bishop f8. That's good.
Not certain, but I think after king c3 already have some... Okay, no. Probably then I had an idea of knight d7, but it's gonna be enough to just take this pawn and defend
Yeah.
easily against with the bishop
But I
against
think
knight
they
and the
will
pawn.
play till end, because there is possibility to win those pawns, and with this pawn try to play a couple more moves.
Yeah, that's for sure. And I think he's gonna still take some time before
Yes.
actually allowing this, because he can still, for example, even here he can go knight a6.
This higher rated player always try to do something, even if there is nothing.
Yeah, even here, yes.
Yes, here is
just-
some chances. So
But he can just stand this like this.
yes, but here is improving. King c5. No, first check. b4, and now king c5.
Ah, yes, that's true. That's already quite some improvement, yeah. Maybe then just some stuff like this will be working. Forcing,
And now with king back, and we are playing still many moves.
that's true. Yeah, this is not gonna be easy still for white. They will still he will still have to do some
Yeah.
work. But other games we assessed as finished already. So it might be nothing else really that we could look at from the running games. Yes. So most of the games have finished by now. We have one different color bishop endgame still running, but now I lost it a little bit. it was not too exciting, and I think that one side was also winning there, so that's why I skipped it. Yes, and it finished exactly already by the time I found it. So this one is finished, and question is how long they are gonna try to play on this position. With
So, but really, what will go now after knight r6 now if playing this? How to?
I think king d3 back.
King d3. It's don't looks like b4.
And I'm gonna stand.
Just waiting a little bit.
As soon as you're trying to improve your king, then
So there is no opportunity go to pawn endgame.
now there's knight c5. Yes, of course. There's this. Okay, so this is really not that easy. So what to do here next? Oh, okay. This knight a6 is very tricky approach, which is not that easy to counter straight away. And if you stand like this, not allowing king c5, can you play b4 now? No. That's gonna be a draw somewhere, I assume.
That is draw, yes. Because you get in opposition like taking.
Just to show.
Taking. For example, king c4
Take.
and king d3 just.
And we just reach an opposition, yes.
Yes.
So that's a draw, but of course black is in no way forced to play b4, and they can start to play by playing king to e4, but my idea was that now I play bishop g5 and you don't have the motive of b4 and king c5 together. And it might not be that easy to find some improvement moves anymore.
So that's mean only improvement somewhere trying to get king to queen side.
We can of course try to skip moves in some way, but how should we do it? Not too many ideas for me, as
Okay, then if you go like okay, it's not.
So probably if he understands this kind of motive, which is not that easy playing on seconds, then he's fine.
Okay.
But
they still have the same position.
if they have still the same, no, the position is already much more different. Knight went to d7, not to a6, so they are maneuvering around like this.
Okay.
I believe that this shouldn't be problematic for white anymore. And what happens if I just play very simple?
You just to change. You want to give your
I
bishop for pawn and ready to.
Just
move
ready
your
to
pawn.
play f5 and yeah, finish the game.
Okay, it's most easy way.
They did repeat, yes, this is on the board, and
Probably they will finish just very short.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's
Yes. So white now is planning to change this pawn and make life more easy. So
probably he'll try something at knight a4 still, and do it from c5. But
Can you do that?
now you can already,
take, yes, and f5.
and yeah, that is also over. Just so this game is, I think,
Yeah,
also over,
Okay.
and that would mean that pretty much all of the games for us are done, and that there are, at least not on the live boards, there are no 150 move games as you expected. Wait, this is also a draw, sorry.
And the all players decided that this evening is one more game and there is no point to play 150 moves.
Who decided that there's no point? Who didn't have a choice? But the result is the same, yes. So I think that with that we could also finish our
Okay.
broadcast from round 2 of the tournament. We'll be back in less than 2 hours with
Yes.
round 3 of it starts 5 p.m. Riga time, so 4 p.m. Central European time. So be sure to tune in for some live commentary, for some more action, maybe by some new commentators appearing in the room or returning.
Or old one.
And yeah, I am sure that it's gonna just get more and more interesting as there are fewer people with 2 points.
Yeah, we saw already so many exciting games where top players was leaving points.
Maybe we'll be even seeing some Grandmaster against Grandmaster encounters already in round 3.
It's time
Yeah.
to get that.
So yeah, thank you for watching and see you all later.
Yeah, see you later.